Talk Shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello? Hello. I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody is coming in to talk about anything. I'm not really much to talk to myself over the phone. If anybody wants to call in, whatever.
How you doing?
Hello?
Yo, how you doing? My name is Louis B., host of the Crotch Shop radio show.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up? You sound like you haven't done any research.
Like I haven't done any research?
Well, you haven't done any show prep. If you would have done some show prep, you wouldn't be all like and. I understand. I used to be like that too. It's not that hard. What you do is you try to think of what topic you wanna focus on. And you do some research. You do your show like once a week?
Around there, something like that.
Yeah, that gives you the whole week to come up with stuff. Come up with like 2 hours worth of material, and you just break it down, and you have time. You make time for a little breaky poo. If you got like some unsigned artists and stuff like that. And me, I do it 5 times a week, so it's a little bit harder for me because I gotta come up with stuff. But what I do is I come up with jokes. I do comedy skits like this.
Hello, Mr. Dove. I'm selling these Girl Scout cookies to help out get us new uniforms. Would you like to buy a box?
Hell no, young girl. You must get off my property. I do not accept your unnatural foodstuffs. Please get off. You have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 5. That ought to teach that bitch to fuck with me and give me unnatural foodstuffs. Mm-hmm. Now what the hell I'm gonna do with this body? See,
yeah, that's like the way you got it set up is more like seems like more like an entertainment type of thing.
Well, yeah, no, I entertain and I do, and I do educate. You can't just, really. What I've noticed is if you're just talking about the information and sounding dry, people don't stick around. You gotta liven it up because and also it makes it easier for people to learn.
Yeah, well, it's like the whole way I had it was just like a platform for people, if they want to talk about certain things, they could talk about it. It wasn't like a show in the sense like I'm a type of media or anything.
Well, yeah, but that's what we need to be though if we're gonna take over. Because what the hell is the real media doing? Nothing. Hell, do you think I give a fuck about Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber? Mm-hmm. No, I don't care. That's not real entertainment. In fact, that's a lot of demonic crap if you go to VigilantCitizen.com. Mm-hmm. Have you been to VigilantCitizen.com?
No, what's that about?
Oh, you gotta check that out, bro. That's a lot. That's a wealth of information, man. That's like a whole plethora. He talks about he really breaks down the entertainment industry on how a lot of symbology in pop culture is very demonic or Freemasonic and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He'll show he'll have like interviews that artists have done saying that they have if you unless you're like unless you do something messed up that you won't get a record deal. Mm-hmm. In fact, a lot of the rappers that are out today that they act so macho and shit, they're not there. The only reason why they're there is because they sucked a little dick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I talked about stuff like that before in the past.
Yeah. A lot of these guys, they're gay. They're gay because then they're just gay for pay, pretty much. They're just You know, and especially and with the women, man, the women. I mean, poor Beyonce, she's mind controlled, and Jay-Z's her handler. And this whole thing, Jay-Z is a Freemason. Don't let him fool you by saying, "Oh, that's just retarded" and all that. Look at his clothes. All of his clothes. Look at his videos. That is not coincidence. He didn't just do that because, oh, shit will be hot. No. He's doing that because he's winking to his masses. Because he's still a slave himself. They just allow him to be all wealthy and powerful like that. They give him that power. If he was to turn against them today, he would get busted down and killed like Tupac immediately. Tupac was getting mad, was getting dangerous, really dangerous, because now he had his own money. He had fuck you money. And once you got fuck you money and you don't need these people and you could actually, and you had a fan base and you can make your own money and do whatever, do your own thing, and then he's turning around exposing them. I mean, come on, Illuminati. Shoot, of course they had him killed. And then they tied it into Biggie, even though I don't think Biggie was a New World Order kill. Puffy killed him. Puffy killed him. Puffy's one of them. I mean, he's not as high up as Jay-Z, mind you. But Puffy killed Biggie Smalls because Biggie Smalls was about to jump on the label with Tupac and really just start something new and just squash the whole East Coast West Coast shit, which was stupid to begin with. It's still stupid. I mean, really think about it. It's like, oh, well, you live on this side of the country, you live on that side of the country, we gotta kill each other. I mean, what about the people in fucking Chicago? What, they get killed by both sides? Come on, it's a whole bunch of ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's just polarizing. It's the usual. It's the usual strategy they use. Just always polarizing, and people never see the big picture.
Edutainment. Yeah. Do you know about the Bronfman family?
Yeah, I heard of them.
Okay, they're the real mob.
The real mob.
Yeah, they're the real mob. They want you to think that, oh, it's only a bunch of Italians that are into organized crime. But who are their bosses? There's this Jewish family by the name of the Bronfmans. I mean, once you start doing your own research and start really looking into this, it's like, oh shit, I've been lied to this whole time about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
You sound tired.
No, I'm not tired. I just woke up a little while ago. So. So.
Princess hours.
Huh?
Princess hours, huh?
Yeah, I just had a long day.
I understand. You gotta keep your pin pan strong.
Yeah. So with the mob and stuff, from what I understand, it kind of started like Eastern America. This version of the mob, like Chicago was like a place where a lot of all different types of gangs in America originated, like the Latin Kings,
yeah,
Vice Lords, the Gangster Disciple, all these groups, and their main job, really, role is the common denominator. They all have to sell drugs and kind of justify the justice system. And by justifying, as above, so below, they run both sides, police and the criminal empire. And the people inside, the bystanders in the middle, don't know what's going on. But like their job is to, because they sell drugs, pharmaceuticals, but they also have illegal drugs that they need to sell too, or get rid of, to use to control the masses. So that's what the task of gangs and stuff like that. And you'll see them. It's Freemasonry when you look at like gangs like.
Well, it's not just the Freemasons. It's not just the Freemasons, even though they are they are dangerous. They are dangerous, but it's
But
not
this
just
it's
one
all
group.
Freemasonry. They all come from Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Freemasonry is just the oldest one out of all of them.
Mhm.
The secret
I mean,
society.
yeah. I mean, have you heard of the Boule Society?
The who?
The Boule Society.
No.
The Black Freemasons. The Boule.
Like Prince Hall Freemasonry? Shit like that.
Well, the Boule Society. It's very prevalent in Chicago. Al Sharpton, he's Boule, and if anyone talks against them, they end up missing.
Mhm. Well. So yeah, you got all these secret societies. Like one big one I was looking into. Called I think it was Mexican Mafia. I'm not sure, but like.
Oh, the Tortillas.
No, the one called Tortella. The Aztecas, that's what it's called.
Oh.
Something like that. But at high levels and stuff, they call when you go like into these things, like deep into it, like at high levels, they'll speak Nahuala at like high levels inside those families. And you'll always see that when you go into it, it's always links to Aztecs or some Spanish Indian tribe.
Well, because a lot of these secret societies, they try to deal with mysticism and shit. I mean, have you seen that documentary New Age infiltration of the Truth Movement?
No.
Final Cut. You gotta check that out. You just Google that and like watch that, because it is a fantastic film.
Mm.
Yes.
So yeah.
In fact, I might just upload it to my YouTube channel, since I could upload really long videos. Do that for the people.
So like, what's your main like goal? Stuff like you said you want to take over.
You know what?
Where are you at?
Where? Well, I am. Well, what I'm trying to do right now is clean up the 9/11 Truth Movement. At the same time, expose the other side for doing what they're doing, and if you don't fight the infiltration, you can't progress as a movement if you don't fight the cancer. And there is a cancer within this movement. In fact, I don't know if you've heard about me. Have you ever heard of this group called We Are Change?
Yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah, We Are Change New York, which I was a member for 2 years. I exposed the fact that the leader Luke Wachowski was stealing money. We have the documents proving that he was using money. In fact, he even admitted that he mixed his money with We Are Change money.
Yeah, it's no surprise because these movements. They always use their own people. Alex Jones, all of them. They're all
we got like basically what I'm trying to be is the alternative of the alternative movement. Of the alternative media, because the alternative media has now become just like the regular mainstream media, unfortunately. Alex Jones will not talk about Israel. He won't talk about Zionism. And that is one of the weapons that they use. It's not being anti-Semitic. I mean, you just have to be very, very surgical with how you say things. Because if you don't, people will think, oh, well, you just hate Jews. And that ain't the case. Because, I mean, there are many, many, many good Jews. And there are many Jews that are just assholes. But that doesn't mean they're evil in that way. They just means they're assholes. And they're, but that you just got to be very specific.
Like, what do you
I mean, I also do comedy, so like trying to be like Jon Stewart type of thing. The Daily Show. Try to make jokes.
So you're like basically like alternative media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to fill a void. I'm trying to be the voice of the people who are not followers. They need a place where they could sound off and really just be like, look, this whole thing is bullshit. It's a joke. This whole system, we've been lied to so much. I mean, if you ever seen the movie or read, actually better yet, if you read the book, The Watchmen, the comedian.
Yeah, I read the book and watched the movie.
Yeah, the book is a lot better.
Yeah, I read it.
Even though the comedian, I mean, he has a point. The whole thing is a joke. Once you realize you've been lied to about everything is it's a humongous joke. And you know what? I'm there to laugh at it and expose it and show the joke and explain the punchline.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
These are all like almost like archetypal characters in that movie, Watchmen. I mean, it's deeper than a lot of people, I guess, think. When they first see that movie, but like those people, like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
They're like representing something. It's really deep, old, ancient stuff they're talking about.
Yeah, knows about the Bull Late Society. He's actually on the call right now.
Yeah. Boule, to all the black actors, black entertainers, rappers, join that society. That's their way in,
Yeah.
But it's all the same thing, It's all the same. They all pretty much run under the same program,
Yeah.
Right.
So.
So.
Who's Mick the Ascended Master?
That's me from England, UK.
What's up, Mick? Do I know you? Like, have I ever spoke to you? Or?
Oh, I've been out here a long time trying to wake people up, but takes a long time. But once you wake people up, they get going, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
How you think Manchester United is gonna do today? Well, did they play already?
I don't do sport.
I don't even know. Who is that?
Oh, they're a soccer team, very famous soccer team. They won 19 straight championships in the Premier Soccer, Football League. Yes. They play soccer.
Yeah. With that We Are Change group, I used to be like into the whole 9/11 thing, and I even went to the 9/11 thing in New York City, because I live right outside New York City, and
Oh, you probably see me.
I don't know. I live in Long Island, and
yeah, I'm a Brooklyn boy myself.
Yeah, and I went there, and I realized it was just all a setup. It was just none of it was real. It was just to make.
We were told it was going to.
What happened?
We was told it was going to happen anyway, didn't we? I was sitting with the professor as it went down, and I said, "Well, the Americans have just done this to themselves." And he said, "No, don't be silly. They wouldn't kill all them many people." I said, "What?" Yeah, and he soon come round and saw the light. It's quite obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, they that's why they I mean, when you dig into it, you find out that's the whole reason why they build all these things. That's why, I mean, they built America as a country to be destroyed a long time ago.
I've been trying I've been trying to wake up people since 1980. They all thought I was mad. I wrote a book, and loads of the stuff has come through, but there's a lot more shit coming down yet. A lot more.
Yeah. So, if you've been looking at it since like 1980, I mean, you probably have you grasp like a deeper understanding of it than I guess.
Well, it's a very, very deep understanding, but the thing is, it's about us becoming to the oneness, getting together and stopping all this, all the politicians and people that run the world have just gone absolutely mental, and if we don't stand up and say no more, they're going to blow the planet up. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using it.
That's the plan.
Okay, what was that?
Yeah, that was my phone. I'm on my house phone.
So you gotta switch to X-Lite, so that way you don't waste minutes for no apparent reason.
Yeah. So So yeah.
Yo, brothers, where can I get some tip at, huh?
Some what?
Some of that tea,
I got some jink.
Yeah, where's Jenkum at?
Could you direct me to the nearest Jinkum factory, please?
What?
I know you, brothers. Don't think we don't know about it. We know you be huffing that Jenkum. Come on, how much for bot?
Oh, okay. Well,
Ladies
and gentlemen, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. You just got your first idiotic, unfunny prank calls.
I'm not pranking. I'm just talking to two fucking worthless niggers, and I want my Jenkum.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, dude.
Why are you talking to my 13-year-old? Okay, that's not my question. Why are you talking to my 13-year-old son instead of me or his father?
Wow.
All right. Anyway.
Yep. Back at the ranch.
All
right.
The Ascended Master. I don't even know. So why do you call yourself the Ascended Master? Are you like into like meditation and all that stuff?
No. I haven't got any religion. I haven't got any. I don't meditate. I just, things just come to me, like telepathic and sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
But the Ascended Master is just to get people going. It winds up the scientists when I send them my book and show them how things work. And it's all in the book there if you read it, what's been going on.
Yeah.
A lot of it goes back to the Vatican, but it is the Masons. The Masons beyond a lot. It's the 33 bloodlines. But it gets so complicated. But at the end of the complication, we just got to stick together. We can't let them keep doing this because they're just going to destroy the planet. And if they destroy the planet, well, there's nothing for our children, is there?
Yeah, no, of course not. No.
And we're all doing it. Everybody in here, we're all doing it. Because that's what we're here to do. But there's an awful lot of people waking up now, though, isn't there?
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
there's a lot of people who who just talk about the symptoms of the problem, but they don't go to the root of things. So
exactly,
it's just people complain about, it's going around in circles, complaining, talking about chemtrails, but they're not really.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, it's also. I mean, if I could jump in, it's also if you're looking at the people in Egypt. people like you hear like, oh, they're woken up to the thing. No, they're just angry because they're not they can't buy food with one denarius or whatever currency they have over there. I mean, they like you said, they're only complaining about the symptoms. They're not really attacking what really caused it.
Yeah, like in Egypt, for example, like as in many countries, if people see the common denominators, like you'll notice that like in all these countries, and Egypt wasn't the only one, but like the leadership is being questioned in all these countries, and it's the same thing as in this country. All the people are asking for change, but the change that they're gonna get is not what they expected. It's gonna be a change for the worse, and it's all a plan behind it all. All this stuff that you see going on.
Until people can let go of money, if people can't let go of money, there's not going to be any change.
Are you going with the zeitgeist? Are you like part of the zeitgeist movement?
I understand what you're saying about money, but
I expect you learned it from me. Yeah. He's quite a nice old boy.
I know what you're saying about money, but like, it's not really money that's really the problem. It's people's perspective of money is the problem.
Well, if you've got a load of gold in your back pocket, if you've got a big strong back pocket, it wouldn't be long before you're dead, would it? You know what I mean? The money's gone now. It's out of the cohesion. You know, money is just a printed piece of paper. And it's so corrupt. If we don't get rid of money and don't do bartering, you don't do bartering. You just get back to the oneness and start doing it and sharing it out. And until you come to that conclusion, we won't be here when that happens, because they'll blow it up by then. There's a third world war coming. It's been programmed into the society about a third world war. Israel's not out there for nothing. We put him in there after the war. We put Israel there, and they all believe they're the chosen ones, and they're going to go and bomb somebody, and it'll start off, and we'll all be goners. We'll all be kissing their arse. But we have got time. But the planet's going to rock and roll anyway, and if you read my book, it tells you all about it. What happens to the planet?
The planet will always be here. It's like the planet's like a recycling, self-cleansing machine.
Are you selling this book, or is this basically all on your blog?
This is just a blog. It's only 24 pages. It's 24 pages, but it's all channeled. I've done it 4 years ago, and I don't read and write. And I just spoke into a tape for about an hour every morning, and then my boy put it on a website and give me a laptop, and I've been out here ever since trying to get people woken up to be nice people. That's all we've got to do, is be nice people. Because we've come to the end of being, when we was throwing stones at one another and bows and arrows, but now it's got too big. The weapons have got too vast. We can't fight anymore. They're too vast. They could take the whole crowd out with microwaves or whatever they've got. Their technology is hundreds of years in advance of what we could imagine. You can't imagine what machinery they got out there. And another thing, lots of things have happened to me in my life, because I was just a dirt farmer for years when I was small, right up until I was 22. I was a manager on a farm, but I was milking cows for years. And so I'm just an old dirt farmer, but I was out there one night at 11 o'clock and I saw the whole Federation. So I saw the UFOs, and the whole sky was full of them. And what did they say? They said, oh, it was a Russian satellite broke up. You could see these UFOs, but it was the Federation. It was so massive. And things like that I saw woke me up. Until you see it, I'm not telling anybody else to believe in anything, but I actually saw it, very close up. So of course, I know there's something big going on around the planet. But this planet, when I wrote my book and said to people where this planet come from, they actually put it on the television where the planet come from. The planet wasn't here in the first place. It come here from out the solar system, and there was 3 moons here. Well, there was only 2 then. There's 2 moons and something happened, but then another one come along. But they can't even work out, the size of the moon. It don't fit this planet anyway. But this planet is going to go back home again. So, try and practice to be nice people, because we don't die. We don't die. But they ain't going to take... They're not going to take anybody that's going to destroy the planet. They're not going to let people go out there on another planet to destroy that one. So these little shithouses are all going underground. Well, that's a pit. I ain't got no religion, but they're going down their own pit. And when the world breaks up into bits, they go off with it, dead. But if you're nice people, you'll go to another place. But it's all in my book. It's too complicated. But there again, I might be completely mad.
Yeah, but being nice, I mean, different people around the world and different cultures, they all have a different idea of what being nice is.
Of course, nobody's the same. We're all. If you read my books, you'll see what we really are, right? But we're all different. But that makes the oneness. We're all different. We can't all be the same. Otherwise, we'd be just bakers or milkmen or what's saying. We're all different, and we're all brainwashed by our parents and their grandparents and by our cultures. We've been brainwashed into all this Illuminati shit that's been going down for thousands upon thousands of years, and we've been brainwashed through fear. My mum used to say to me when I was 2-3 years old, she used to say to me, "Keep your mouth shut," I said, "You'll be in a nut house," because that's what Swinton Churchill done here in England. After the war, he put 100,000 nut houses. Anybody spoke about anything that was in the nut houses, and they made experiments on them. It's been going on for thousands upon thousands of years.
So, like, where in the UK do you live?
I'm in UK, in England, in the sunny bit, Sussex.
So you see, like old architecture and all that stuff. I always found it interesting. Like they have like older architecture and
well, it's all orchestrated from London. It's all the main I keep forgetting who they are because they're so the main masons are in London. You've got a queen. The masons. They're
more important people. Like this, it's more important people in power in Europe than there are in America. I know that, but then there's more important people in Asia than there are in.
But you've got the main. It's all orchestrated from Britain. Always has been orchestrated from here in Britain. But there again, they're in with the Roman Catholics. All roads lead to Rome. All this stuff hidden in out there in Rome. With the Roman Catholics. There's so much going on. It's just unbelievable. But nobody's ever said anything because they're too frightened. They're just too frightened to do anything about it.
Well, I find like when I research, all the roads seem to go back to the Middle East. Everything.
To the
media.
They go back to the Middle East.
What'd you say?
Did you say they go back to the Middle East?
Yeah. It's Persia, Turkey, and then India, and like they're in the middle. They're the media. And media was the capital of Persia, and it's no coincidence
And what did the Knights Templar? And what did the Knights Templar do? They went over there and
they went over there and they learned that the pen was mightier than the sword.
They went over there, robbed all the wealth. They was rich in a couple of minutes. The Knights Templar were quite rich, but they was all Masons.
Yeah. So they learned that instead of fighting with the sword, they could use the word better as a weapon. So they put their swords down, these knights, and they became, because knights were priests and they were soldiers, but they split that up over a period of time, and they became...
when they got older and all the... after they came back from the wars, instead of going back out to fight, they became priests, because they were also homosexual too, a lot of them, so they could hide in the monasteries, so they wouldn't have to marry all of the new wives, the widowed ladies, because all the men died in the war.
But if you go back to even the Egyptians, behind all the kings, behind every king and all the kings is always a high priest, a magician, and they do it, but by magic, but it's no magic. They just do it by deceit. They're mad. They're mental. These people.
Yeah. Well, they're engineered to be that way. So you'll always notice that a common denominator is priesthoods behind everything, and that's what Freemasonry really is. It's ecclesiastic Freemasonry, and that encompasses Buddhists, Taoists, Jesuits, every religion. This is Freemasonry. They're priesthoods, and it's like there's 90 degrees in Freemasonry. So you got, below the 31st, 32nd. That's all secular Freemasonry. That's
the 33 bloodlines is 13 families that run the world, but it's gone on all that time. It gets more and more confusing as it goes along. But without these people, just think, without these dirty little shitbags, would we ever grow up and be big boys and realise there's something going on? It takes this shit to wake us up.
Mhm. Yeah, well, there's more to it than meets the eye. There's more levels of deception than what most people think.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. It's so big. It's so vast. We could talk about it all the time, but this boils down to being nice to one another, because you're no other than me. You're no other than me.
That's what all religions are based on. They all say that. Be nice and help everybody, wake everybody up. But that's not realistic to sit there and try to wake everybody up, because that's the ideal that this Jesus Christ figure was. But all that was just a Trojan horse, because he was a model for like all the different monasteries that kind of just like infiltrated and set up what they were doing. And a lot of what they do was genetic engineering, and they would and just changing, molding people mentally, with the religion and stuff like that.
But they've had so many Jesuses going back through thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. They've had so much practice with these Jesuses to twist everything around so it looks, the bad looks good and the good looks bad. This is the way they work.
Good and bad is relative, and and it's just they tell you in each different period in time what's good and what's bad. And they just kind of mold people to what they want them to be. That's what Freemasonry is. That's why they call it. It's a system of morality veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols. And if you read all their books, that's what they always say in all their Masonic literature. So when you understand that it's a system of morality, that's all religion. That's everything that you can think of that moral instruction. That's
Right.
those children's stories that you grew up with. Little fantasy story. All these things is all allegory and symbolism.
Yep.
That they.
Thank goodness I never went to school. I never did go to school. I stayed at home and milked the cows.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I never learned to read.
Well, that's the thing they use. Yeah, can you? I'll call back in like 1 minute because I gotta get off this phone. Yeah, this phone.
Alrighty. Well, while we're waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. System of morality veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbolism. That pretty much sums up exactly how they communicate with each other, via movies or any type of media that's their spin on everything. They put their spin on reality because they're the hijackers of reality, these people, if you want to call them that. But so no matter what you're trying to, even if you're, trying to communicate to people, to the masses or whatever, it's kind of, it's almost defeating because they're in a world that doesn't accept that kind of view. So it's not really about waking up other people. You can, it's about trying to talk to people who are in the system who can have an influence on changing it. The average Joe isn't really somebody you necessarily have to worry about waking up. Work on yourself. Learn how to tell the story to a number of different kinds of people, and then try to work on people that are in the system that could make the change. That's pretty much the only way you're going to fix anything. Because if the guy, your neighbor, it might be okay to communicate and get your points across to him, and you can bounce ideas back on each other. But where do you go for a solution? Like, what kind of solutions are you trying to, what are you trying to do with this? Where do you go from here? Now that you know, what do you do with it? Where do you take it? What's the next step? Is it all a joke? Is it all just, point at it and laugh? Or, or what do you do?
Well, it's like you said, you work on yourself, and it's really hard work. It's a lot of pain and suffering looking at yourself and seeing how silly we've been all these years. But we work through it. You must have worked through it to be out here. I've worked through it. But we reflect. All we can do is reflect what we do in society. We can reflect that out, and people might pick it up. And somebody wants to know something, we just say, well, it's like this, and let them go and work it out. But you can't force anybody to be different because they've been programmed into it. And we had to sit there and
I don't bother with programmed
programmed
people. Like, I really don't, tell you the truth. I'm not here to wake people up. Like, I'm here to look for leaders and people who already are searching. Because those people, everybody makes their decisions, and they make their choice to be like that. And I'm not going to waste my time with those people.
That's a conscious decision to not want to know, or as far as you'll go with it. That's always your choice.
All you can do for those people is give them information and go on with your life. Like, I'm not here to be like a guy with a bullhorn on the corner. I did that before.
There's loads of leaders waiting. There's loads of leaders around the world waiting.
A lot of these people, you'll see it's the mentality I see. Like, it's the mentality that people think that it's us against the elite, and it's not, because the elite are just a higher form of slaves. They're controlled too. It's just it's a system that, but our perceptions are given to us about the system from the media. Alternative media is still the media. As above, so below. They have two sides of everything.
Yeah.
They just use us. They use us to go and fight their wars. It's us doing it to ourselves. We're our own worst enemies. We rub all this cream on us to smell nice, and it's all poison what they put in it. We're just our own worst enemies. But it's great scientists out there just waiting. They don't want to be in power. They're just waiting to show you the way of doing things and showing you new ways of powering things. They're just waiting out there. They can't come out until we get rid of the leaders because they'd be dead. If they come out with new technology, they'd be dead. They've done it time after time.
Technology has existed before, man. It's not just now they're coming out with it. It's always pretty much been there, and the people that you see as scientists and that are developing, they're just doing research, which means that the searching was already been done. They're just redoing it, so it's just getting released to them.
When you look at the technology, like, I can tell you, like, submarines and stuff like that, they had that at least before the last ice age.
Yeah.
I mean, when you understand the symbolism and what they're talking about, it becomes kind of quite clear what they're
John and the whale.
Yeah, like, you know, when you look at, you know, Francis Bacon wrote that book, The New Atlantis. He talks about all types of technology which people think is new today, like bio-warfare and you know, genetically engineering plants, stuff like that. And even submarines he talked about too. But that's just like, that's old stuff, like all that stuff. So like, that's how they've been able to manage all this stuff, like, you know, build pyramids and have all these wars and everything. And it's, the wars are just a form of control. War, famine, disease, they just control the masses with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
they're just changing power, like changing who's in control. That's all that.
Yeah, they kill their own people all the time. The people who run
they kill their friends first.
Yeah, like when in the Holocaust, when you know, the people who died first were gays, you know, gypsies, and Freemasons. But they never killed the people who set up the whole system, and they were called Judeans. And Judeans pretend to be Jewish, you know, and they're like the elite. They're like, that's what like Rothschild is. He's a Judean, and Jewish just means you wish you were a Judean. So the Jewish people were kind of like thrown to the lions, like they're there to take the heat, you know. And people say Jewish Zionists, but you gotta better define it. It's actually 7 families, Semitic families, and they all fight each other. And these Semitic families are Babylonians, Carthaginians, Phoenicians, Ethiopians, Hebrews. And so it's like all these families that they kind of manage the affairs between the Caucasians on one side and the Asians on the other. They're in the Middle East.
That's what it's called, semi.
Yeah. So they're the media. They write plays and stories, but that's just one faction of it. That's just, you got so many other factions. Every race in the world plays a role on this chessboard for where it's going. Every race plays a role. Every religion, it's all plays a role.
Yeah.
So,
Shakespeare said it, the whole world's stage.
Man, Shakespeare was the one who came out with the story Desdemona, death to the demon female. Once you understand...
Alright, I just got in the call. It's cool. Yeah, I'll be quiet for a second. Just catching up.
Who's this?
I'm Maggot.
What's up, man?
Don't worry. I'm listening. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I've been listening in. It's been fun. I was guest 3 on in the chat room. Yeah, I just got Skype credit just now because I tried X Lite and it's just impossible. Here in the UK,
I think I heard of you. You're like you host the show with that guy Joe Blow, I think it is.
That was a few years back. Yeah. I mean, sort of like everybody had to start somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I've moved on from strength to strength then, since then. I went on to do American Freeman, which is quite funny. It was like a big scam. Louis B was on there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, he's still on the line. Yes. That was a big scam. It was a big sort of like, there was this Freeman, what do you call it? It was like Freeman legal system, yeah, which was just basically made up, and it was all like, oh, you've got to call it like friend or something.
Yeah, I fell for that, man. I kind of knew it was too good to be true, but
What do you mean, like contract law?
Well, no, like sovereign. You would state you would be sovereign to the law. It really sounded too good to be true, but I was like, well, they're not asking me for no money, so if it's out there and if it's real, if this is a way to so I kind of fell for it until till it was explained to me that, wait a minute, this is, and proven to me that it was BS. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I had to put up with like 3 hours a day of that rubbish show. It was hilarious in a way, because it's the American Freeman show, and every day I was on there as like full-time host for the whole show, 3 hours a day. From the UK. So yeah, I mean, 350 million Americans, and you have to always have the English guy in there to give any credibility to the show. Oh, it was just embarrassing. Yeah, but I mean, it was basically this sort of, the idea they were trying to throw to the public was that it was like this way of getting around the legal system, and you could you could walk out of court, and we've got this guy called Caribbean Critic, or CC, and he claimed to be living in Barbados, and he had these amazing schemes that never worked, and there was never any evidence of them. It was all a big scam, but the interesting part was like how wide scale it was. I mean, it was just like, I never organised it. I didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, it's like, I did the Joe Blow show for I don't know how many months. That was another scam. And then I got contacted by somebody from that show. We got dumped from that show because everybody gets dumped by him eventually. And so then I got my sort of like golden ticket to go onto the American Freeman show. And it's like, wow, this will be your amazing show. And it's like, oh, right, I was so pleased. This is like, I'm so pleased. Yeah, it was so amazing. I was so surprised that we had like a pirate as well, with a pirate radio. And conversations. It was just, yeah, it was just like one sham from one sham to another. But the thing is, I think it's partially organised by the European Court of Justice, or something claiming to be that. So yeah, I mean, it is a scams within scams within scams. But I did all that. I did those shows, and then I finally went on to do my own show, like taking over from the Maggot show, which is just like ridiculous. It was just like it was just like me taking the piss, basically. It was fun.
Yeah, there's a guy in America. The guy I was listening. I've been listening to stuff about contract law, and the stuff that I find, like, because I already look at words, study like the meanings behind words, and how the systems run. And a lot of it I saw was true, but I don't know. I don't know the stuff about and the like being in court. I never used that stuff. I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Gordon Hall. He's like one of those people, sovereigns, or whatever. But I don't know. Like I just I don't agree with everything that they say. They go off and say
yeah.
A lot. There is insights I find personally. There's like insights in there.
Yeah. It's difficult to explain off it for just off the cuff, because there's different levels to it. If you're sort of like just somebody off the street who didn't know anything about the law or legal system or anything like that, then yes, you can get off by using the Freeman system, because it's a one-off offence, and they'll be like, well, he's not worth the bother. But once you've used it more than once, they'll be, oh, we got a wise guy here. And what everybody hates in any sort of bureaucracy or whatever, whether it's the police or This is a wise guy. Somebody thinks they know better than them, what their own business is. And so, yeah, you do the thing, I'll use my McKinsey representative or whatever. I use this legal loophole, and I'll claim that I'm the actual judge because the judge lost interest in my case and walked out, and so I'll claim I'm the judge and dismiss the case. Ha ha ha. And yeah, that really doesn't work because because basically the police will beat you up, or the nicer way of putting it is that they'll set up something for you. They'll plant something on you, like drugs or whatever, because they want you out. They want you out of their system, because you're in there like a smart aleck going, I know the system better than you. I can just run rings around you, and it's just become like a nuisance. And I got that impression off that show. It was really sort of really staged.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's so many people in there. I don't know. I think there's insights in it, but from what I understand, it's not like you just get off. It's just that people don't understand what's going on. Like when a cop says things to you, it's basically it's like offer and acceptance. He's giving you an offer, and depending on what you say or do, you're either accepting it or conditionally accepting it.
Yeah. It's because you're registered as a slave in the system, and so everything you do is either confirm or deny you're a slave. So if you want to deny you're a slave, then you've got a far more difficult sort of intellectual route to follow. If you want to accept that you are a slave, then you are anyway. So we'll just carry on regardless. Go this way, slave. Go that way, slave. I mean, I think I defeated that part of the system by claiming myself as sovereign ruler. I claimed myself as king at the age of 33, and I did that in public. I think it was in Macbeth or something like that, because I'm a Protestant, sort of born a Protestant, so I'm WASP, Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So I sort of used the sort of race card on them, and apart from people thinking I'm totally insane, I haven't really had any legal problems. Well, I've never had any legal problems, and it would be a bit weird if I did, if my sister's an admin at the European Court of Justice. But, having said that, I haven't actually spoken to her in years, except for, really crazy emails where she seems to be totally insane.
It seems like a lot of those guys, too, the guys that I hear, I don't know, at least the one guy I hear, when you look at their names, it seems like they're Masons themselves. And it just kind of seems like it's just you're playing that game. That's what it seems to come down to. You play their game with them, that game with law.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, my actual natural name is John Henry Mills Warrington, and John Henry is named after the black slave hero prototype, whatever. And I'm actually John Henry too, and so you got John Leto too. And that's basically I went into the show. I was going through that whole sort of Masonic deciphering things, but nobody's really helped me on this thing because I've just I've not joined any secret societies. I've done it all off my own back. If anything, they just throw me loads of webs, basically, loads of deception, and try to throw me off the path, which was just basically trying to figure out why the hell all these people lying to me, because on one hand, and they do this to everyone, I think. On the one hand, they say you're totally insignificant, you're not worth talking to, you'll never amount to anything. But on the other hand, they will block you, prevent you from talking to anybody or doing anything. And it really doesn't make sense. It's a paradox, It's just if I'm not worth your effort, why are you putting the effort in to stop me from doing anything?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's the deeper you go in, the system, I guess, has ways of. It seems like isolating people.
Yeah. It's a black and white system. That's the thing. And if you can think beyond, there's I don't know the actual phraseology doing it, but there's like different levels of logic, and there's like this really long sort of logic that I call draconian, which is like where A leads to B to C to D to D, A, F, right through to Z or whatever. But most people can't actually go that far. It's just like it's either it's right or it's wrong, or it's this or it's that. And if it's that, then I don't like it. If it's this, then I'll ask somebody, and then I'll like it if they like it. Their minds can't actually go beyond a certain point, and so that is what the system's based on. Like the any basically system, any hierarchy on the planet, really. Like the intelligence system. And it all seems to be like I can't actually remember what it's called, but it's externalization of the hierarchy. It's basically sort of like the Masonic systems become externalized, and I blame the Freemasons for that myself.
Well, it's all, when you look at symbols and the languaging, it's just different factions of the same thing. Like, people blame different groups. All these groups to me are just all one. They all just have a different task. It's just secret societies to better define everything. I define it as secret societies, and there's thousands of these secret societies, but they all have a common denominator.
It's like in a maze. I mean, it's like you could count the amount of dead ends you might find in a maze, and that's basically what secret societies would do to you.
The labyrinth.
Like, lead you. Yeah, exactly. Like in Pan's Labyrinth. That movie was so funny because it was all allegory, and it's like if you watch it literally, it didn't make any sense at all. But it was all word myth and event myth. It was very interesting.
Yeah, how they went into the underworld and got this queen, and she was reborn.
Yeah, that's it. And he had like the sort of like Easter Bunny, who was like the guy at the bottom of the thing. He was basically masturbating while he was watching the girl.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. He had like the really long forearms. So he was basically doing that in the background. He wasn't like saying it. But he was like, I can't help myself. But it was the clean answer I can give to that is that she smelled of innocence. Because the story of the unicorn is they'd only let a virgin ride them.
Yeah, I know. The unicorn is like talking about a model of a certain type of person that they want. It's a type of. It's in they allegorize it in the movie Legend of Tom Cruise. When they say the unicorn, it's with the unicorn.
It has horns that point to stars.
Yeah, it points to heaven. In heaven, as above, so below. Heaven is when you understand the geology of the planet, heaven is where all things go. Basically, heaven, hell, purgatory. But the boho, discontinuity, the upper mantle, lower mantle, and the hell is core. So this is the core of the planet. And
yeah. I tend to think hell is where we are at the moment on a physical level, and heaven is sort of like within yourself. Heaven.
Yeah, you
heaven
can look at it like that.
It's
another way of looking at it. The kingdom of heaven and hell is hell within each person. But that's how the mystery language works. It's different interpretations, so you can use deniability for whoever.
Yeah, see what context they're talking about. You're talking in.
Because like when you break it down, the Bible is just a collection of stories. It was just a collection of stories that some Jewish tribe, probably the Judeans, collected, and they transferred it, which is like the Book of Exodus. It was just a bunch of stories. I mean, you've got other tribes and stuff that had other books of stories, but they weren't as big or as mighty as the Bible. Doesn't the Bible just translate as holy book or something, sacred book?
Yeah, it's a code book for like Masons and stuff, insiders. So just read in that book whenever they have the instructions. They look into that book and they know what to do. And when you understand,
they read the allegory and they get their message for the week.
And he says, I love you. And all you get out of it is God says he loves you. What a load of old.
The actual Masonic Bible is about 1,500 years later, isn't it? Though it was quite a lot of revisions happened between like the original Bible, like the Old New Testament, and the apocryphal text. Before you had the is it King James Bible? Francis Bacon apparently did.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Queen Master, wasn't it? It was about 1500s or something. So yeah, I mean they had plenty of time to get that sort of like codified, really.
Yeah, well,
actually,
I think they wrote that Bible in the Library of Alexandria.
Okay.
That's where it came
from.
Yeah,
the Great Library.
And it was in that library. There's different groups. It was rabbis and Egyptian priests, and all of these guys. They say came together, but I think the group in particular was the Essenes who wrote that book. When you read like Albert Pike. He mentions that like Jesus Christ, he speaks out against every other group, but he never speaks out against the Essenes. And it was the Essenes and another similar group. And when you look at their rituals, the Essenes, the secret society, I mean, they're still around today. These guys.
Yeah. He probably never spoke out against them because he never heard of them.
Yeah, he was part of them. That's what they were saying. He was in the scene. When you look at the rituals of the Athenians and look at what he did, you'll see that it kind of matches what Athenians do.
At least they wrote in the Bible and told us what they was going to do to us, didn't they? They did put in the Bible what they was going to do to us.
Yeah, it's that contract law again. Like it's a contract. When Moses came up on the hill and he seen that fire, that's a covenant. That fire. Yeah. So when you look at Persia, they all worship fire. That's all goes back to when people. It was when that other race of people. Basically, when human beings learned about fire, they learned about fire from the tribes.
The Zoroastrians.
Yeah, Zoroastrians. Yeah, and that's where Judaism, Christianity, and Muslim is all basically is. It's Zoroastrian modernized in different form. And
that
was Nietzsche that actually popped that.
Yeah, Nietzsche.
The main thing they've told us in the Bible, the next thing they're going to do is starve us to death, so we ought to get busy and grow a few beasts, don't you think?
Yeah, in the Bible, it's just it's the end time Bible. If you notice, they talk about there's going to be a new earth and Judgment Day and all these things. That that all links up with Francis Bacon's College of 6 Days. It's a 6,000-year-old plan that they basically started. Persia, Zarathustra talked about it too. And it was a 6,000-year-old plan to destroy America, destroy basically the world, the whole world over through seemingly natural events. Flooding.
So that's 6,000 years, but you can go back even further than that. So
yeah, but they're further than that
all that time.
But 6,000 years ago was just to destroy everything. But before that was just, this thing goes back before the Ice Age. So you got to go prehistory, right? And then they talk about changing human beings and using them, making a new type of species, basically, and then 6,000 years ago they say, okay, now we're going to destroy everything. So that's what right now.
Only after their goals were accomplished.
Yeah. So.
When they're making a job of it, aren't they? They are doing
But
it.
nobody knows how they're going to be destroyed. People think it's like economic collapse, but they don't see it coming. It's kind of obvious to me when you look at all their signs and over in every movie, all the Bibles, they all talk about, that they're going to flood. There's going to be floods, earthquakes. It's going to be all of that, and
Cataclysmic events.
Yeah, cataclysmic events, and everybody's arguing over, oh, they're going to use biowarfare, all this and that. But
the economy is going to crash.
Yeah, I've got a massive great garden. It's over an acre big. I grow all my own vegetables, right, and a few people take a few. And then they come along with chemtrails and start poisoning the food. It's all right for them living underground. If you go down their underground bunkers, they're quite deep, but they've got food down there, growing down there. The oxygen's much better than up here.
They had floods and stuff like that before, and so they
ice ages.
Yeah, so they learned a long time ago you can go underground because they had all those ice ages. So after so many ice ages, you figure out, okay, I can live on the ground and avoid these ice ages or whatever, and floods that would happen, and these people would go in mountains. They would go on the ground.
I'm back, by the way.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now they're manipulating another little ice age. If you're out in America like you are, you'd know. There's quite a bit of snow out there, isn't there?
Mhm. Yeah.
Australia's got plenty of water. That's only to keep the
Jared,
food
I think it's time to block guest 12 because he's not adding anything. He's just trying to start a fight. So
who's guest 12?
I don't know. Just block him. If you can. It's like he's just being useless right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he saying something? I didn't hear him.
If you are, but.
Oh no! He's typing in the chat room. He's just.
That's not bothering me. Whatever.
Yeah, he's being a twat.
Yeah,
pick a fight with people.
He's talking about how much of an idiot he is, really. Because when he says vexatious, it means he's confused and he can't understand what's going on. So he just chucks the old sort of street lingo at us. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's fun to hide in anonymity, and no one knows who you are, and you can talk as much garbage as you want, but you're just trying to cause trouble, and then he's like, I'm gonna expose you. Well, there's nothing to expose. There's nothing to expose about me because hey, I'm not a Freemason. I'm not New World Order. I'm not anything. If I wasn't covering anything before, I'm covering it now, slowly but surely, learning stuff. But it's these people. They just want to find something wrong with everybody.
We need exposure at the end of the day. We need exposure. We want exposure. We want exposure. Yeah, so you want to expose us? Go and expose us. Go and report us to your local paper. Report us to Fox News. We can have a spot on Fox News. Great, wonderful. Whoa, you won. This is you get your views go up for 1,000 views a month or a year to over 1 million.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. The haters do contribute to my my ratings. They love to come listen to my show. In fact, this guy's probably one of my #1 fans. So thank you for listening to the show, sir.
I don't know. I find when you tell it like it is, you don't really get that many views or ratings or stuff like that. Not many people.
Yeah.
The truth isn't usually popular in this world.
No. Yeah, gossip. They love gossip.
Yeah, and most people want to be entertained. Some people say that they want to be entertained. They like that, the argument. I mean, some people. That's how some people come at it. They argue and attack other people. That's me. I'm not here to argue and attack because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. I mean, and it really, but sometimes it just gets to the point that You call into the show, you scream the N-word, and you want to be, you just want to, be disruptive for the sake of being disruptive. I mean, on my show, I get prank calls almost every night, and I say, you know what? Can you at least be funny about it? Can you just not be lame about it? At the very least, if you're gonna call in and try to rattle my cage, be funny. Freaking add to the show. I mean, but no, it's like they start talking some nonsense, and I'm like, I would let them keep going and make an ass out of themselves if it was funny, but it's just plain retarded and sad. It's like, and fact of the matter is, a lot of these people, they hide behind their computers, and they will never come step to your face. If they're not gonna step to your face, you're not real. I mean, using myself as an example, I confronted Luke Rakowski to his face. I freaking brought these my concerns to the group's face in person. I go up to people's face and I say shit. I don't just stay on the internet, just calling people up and making stupid comments. It's like, you got a problem with me, step to me and let's handle this. But they don't want to do this. They want to be like, oh, why don't you just come to me? Oh, come to me. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna let you set a trap for me. No, you want it. You're man enough. You're the one with the problem. Come step to me. Then that's how it really should be. It's not like I'm not threatening violence or nothing. But if you're the one who starts the violence, then I pretty much had no choice. Now, do I?
Yeah. So
but it will never come.
That never happens.
It never happens. It never happens.
So whatever happened to that guy Joe Blow? He just doesn't do stuff anymore. I remember he called me.
Did he?
Yeah. I think you were on the line too. It was you and the other guy with his avatar like a little devil with a red face.
Taras Bulba, I expect.
Yeah, Taras
that
Bulba.
was quite a while back. Yeah, I didn't. Were you involved in Genkeely at the time? I mean, we did a show about Genkeely because we called him out.
They called me.
He did zero research on that as well. It was really embarrassing. That was.
What happened?
When we did the Glenn Keely show, it's basically I'd obviously been reading his stuff and doing investigation and stuff and doing it all professionally and I should be paid for this shit sort of stuff. And really, he did absolutely nothing, and he was just like, "Oh, I'll look him up. Oh, it's an old man. Okay, that's cool. We'll call him up and harass him." It was like, all right. Well, I was saying, all right. It's okay because it was his show, and it's media publicity, and it's okay. Well,
he seemed like he told me. Joe Blow told me he was there to entertain people. That's when I talked to him. He admitted that to me. So.
Yeah.
Well, I've never received a Joe Blow call myself. I not yet, I guess. I mean, I've heard that Joe Blow has talked about me, but I haven't received a call.
It's quite funny because he's got a Linux operating system, So I was on his show all the time because obviously being English, I suppose. Well, maybe not obviously, but being English and stuff. So everybody goes. Get all the Americans go, oh, I love his English accent. Can we have more of that, Maggot? Oh, wow. Oh, I can't get enough of it. Is he real? Yes, I am. Oh, that's all rubbish. And so I was regular. I promoted myself. I suggested to him I promote myself as co-host. So I became co-host of his show for quite a few shows, which he subsequently deleted off the internet, but which I put up on my own site. Yeah.
I remember the title of the show was called Joe Blow and the Maggot Conspiracy Show.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I remember. That's when I looked at it like a year ago.
Yeah. That's interesting because I know other different people go to different internets Because this is another thing that they don't go on to too much. Well, the treatment movement is a fallacy anyway. But yeah, I mean, different people get different versions of the internet. So you might have seen it as the Joe Maggot show, but I've never seen myself actually get mentioned except in the show notes. But he's possibly doing some PR work. Possibly got pushed into that, or his handlers pushed him into that. Yeah, so yeah, I was on that show all the time, like every week or every show, and he was just getting ridiculous. I mean, he'd call me up and he goes, "Yeah, man, what's that noise in the background?" It's the ice cream van. Hey, let's do a show about the ice cream van that comes out. What the fuck? Look, I, you know, I've done drugs, but I'm not sure if I've done the drugs that make you think you can talk about an ice cream van for an hour. And make it sound interesting. I don't know, if you can get hold of them, maybe extra large sweets or something.
Well, maybe,
but like,
maybe
what's your stance in it all, Maggot? Like, where you at in all this? Like, what do you, what's your goal? Like, what do you?
He's actually putting out a Christmas album that is set to come out in mid-August.
Me? Okay,
yeah,
I'll do that.
And he's actually doing a photo shoot with with Johnny Depp and Beckham, and they're just gonna be holding balls. That's what he's planning on doing. Also, don't forget his sex tape with a dead walrus, One Night in Maggot.
Yeah, is that Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Was he part of any something? Yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is like, what's my motivation stuff? It's that was what is so weird. Is because I'm like my own person. I don't. You know, there's nobody like whispering over my shoulder or telling me what to do. I'm not part of any secret society or anything like that. And I know it sounds like I am Jesus Christ. That would be true, but Jesus Christ is just the result of a programming system anyway, as far as I've studied. According to not the Masons, who am I thinking of? Not the Quakers.
You're a Protestant, right?
I don't know.
You're a Protestant, right?
Yeah. I'm born Protestant. Yeah. I'm a WASP. I'm actually registered as a giant as well. I got all these ridiculous things. I also got mentioned in Transformers 2 as Maggotron.
Yeah, and ironically enough, he hates the code just as much. Damn it! Was I the only one that saw part 1? Oh, damn it.
I can't let part 1 that much. I'm still recovering from part 2. But I just thought part 2 was just amazing. Yeah.
I just watched it for Megan Fox. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah. Megan the Fox. Oh, her name. Do you know Megan? It comes from Megan Mogg. Megan is like an old. I think it's either Welsh or Scottish. She'll probably hate me now. I think it's Welsh.
I'm about to just throw the holy hand grenade. I'm about to just throw the holy hand grenade in your general direction. That or Dead Parrots.
Yeah. Oh yeah, from Monty Python.
Yeah. This is a formerly live parrot. This is an ex-parrot.
Yeah.
Want to go out for some drinks? Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah, I think I'm friends with you on MySpace.
Yeah.
Under the name is.
Yeah. What? What? 360. Yeah. So I've been drinking only usually for myself. Yes.
Alright.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go out soon. It's like 1:46 a.m. So I have to go out soonish. I'll linger around for a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really an anomaly. I mean, it's like I read Isaac Asimov. You say it. Yeah, I'm a ghost in the machine. I'm a freak in the system. You read Isaac Asimov, the Foundation trilogy, or at least the
Yeah, I've heard a few of those. There's actually a few good stories, and the Foundation trilogy was actually really it was really long. There's a lot of I've heard his other stuff like I forgot the name of it. The one with the computer that had the answer to everything, and he serviced the computer. He was like a grandmaster of the computer. There was another one from Isaac where he talks about it's like this lady who has a robot who's like her best friend.
Yeah, I know.
That was a pretty good story.
Yeah, you mean subtle there? Yeah, because I think I know the story you mean. It's like the first story in the Robots of Dawn series, possibly.
Yeah, it's like
the one with
like 3 lights or something like that. They're like light sculptures or something like that. They call them.
If I'm thinking of the same story, it was this robot. I know you hate this story. You hate it because it was this robot designed as a sex slave, and so it's like a robot designed as the ultimate man. And she goes to what? You have a fully functioning penis. You get. He showed her.
Well.
Yeah. She was like. Telescopic one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think
that would just kill my day. That would just ruin my day. I don't know. I don't know about you. The moment if a chick comes out, if a chick drops her freaking skirt, and I realize it's a dude, that's just I'm just leaving and going back to bed and trying again tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
that'll just ruin my day.
How can anybody compete with a sex robot? It's been specially designed for it. It's just like the ironic part is that wasn't even his real function. That wasn't what he was built for. That was just like one of his minor functions. But it was sort of connected with Hinduism, the devas and all this sort of thing. These sort of like descended gods and stuff. The blue guys, basically, and the blue girls, I suppose. John Manhattan out of The Watchmen. That he was one of those. Basically, he became one of those.
Yeah, when they talk about blue, they're usually referring to blue blood.
Yeah, because that's associated with royalty. As far as I know, I haven't got anything to prove it, but that means that it's sort of like the Queen basically protects them. It basically means a hidden bloodline, so they don't get the publicity that other people get. They're considered like above that level. But they're possibly, I guess, be using breeding because she's well into breeding. So I don't know. She's into breeding horses anyway, and corgis.
Corgis.
Yeah. Corgis is car as well. Yeah.
Corgis.
Yo, Jared, what's up?
Who's this?
Don.
What up, Don? What's good?
Chilling. I saw that you posted the call, so I'm calling in.
What's going on, man? What's new, man? What's going on with you?
Nothing, man. Just chilling in high elevations, That's about it. Nothing crazy.
If you can take me higher.
Waiting for some Papa John's.
Papa John's.
Man,
yeah,
I can't eat no Papa John's. Papa John's gives me the shits real bad. Yeah. Enjoy your meal.
TMI.
Enjoy your meal.
I mean, I'm going to, the things that occur with your bowels have no relevance to what's going on in mine.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there, trying to put out positive energy.
I understand. That's always very good energy, the things that are, referring to your bowels out of your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, man. So you've been researching and all that stuff? Or are you still working on your book?
I'm actually in another stage. In August, I'll probably be hitting up or starting a 10 to 15 city tour to make my book proposal look good. Now, so yeah, that's.
So what's the gimmick behind book publishing?
The gimmick is how
do you make your book sell?
You write there's several stages, right? You don't write a book. That's the first fallacy. You never really write a book when you get published. You write a sort of like book report on your book first.
Mm-hmm.
And that book report then includes, it's called a book proposal. It includes sort of an outline for your book. And, you might want to, per page of chapter, you would write a synopsis giving one line per page. When you write that synopsis, obviously you'll take that and expand it into a book if you get a book deal. Then you also have a promotions plan. The promotions plan is the part that determines how much money you get for your book to write it. So you get paid to write your book first. And that's a whole other ball game where it's like you're negotiating subsidiary rights, such as like audiobooks or, first-year advance royalties, where they try to predict how much your book is going to sell based on your promotions plan. And they'll pay you for your first-year royalties. So your first year you don't get paid, but you might get $150,000 for your book. Just out the gate if they think you'll sell that amount or whatever the case may be. Also, what else? I mean, you might have an author's background thing. I mean, you can create credentials for anything, though. You just go to a bunch of clubs and sign up, pay a $50 fee per month, and you have a bunch of credentials. What else?
Is everything exactly like... So, the book, the information that's in the book that you put in there, is it altered in any way?
What do you mean altered?
Like once it's published, is it changed?
Oh, I mean, in theory, you would never really, if you wrote like an idea down and you sold it, and you sold it for enough money, you could pay someone to write the book.
Oh, okay.
But I'll probably write my own work, but because I just want my dough. I really just want a check so I can go to a higher level of elevation. So that's where my mind's at, because it's just a check, You pay me for the first year royalties, cool, I go get an apartment.
Have
somewhere.
you thought about writing a how-to book?
Yeah, I actually am writing a how-to book.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
In fact, please don't steal my idea. I'm actually writing a how-to book myself. Playing off the for dummies, but it's going to be for assholes. Like cleaning your house for assholes. Pouring cereal for assholes. Breathing in and out while walking for assholes, Just real. Yeah, you keep it simple, Cause
I mean, in actuality, more people get published that have no degrees than people with degrees. Like, a degree makes it harder for you to get published.
Why is that?
Because once you get a degree, you write so convoluted that the common person can't read it. So the common people are who buy the book. You know what I mean? Like, they don't read books, but they buy them. Like, and the only people who get published, or the only places to get published, are like academic publishing houses, and they don't make a lot of money. So for
that's
you to
like
get
the
published,
blind leading the blind, if you think about it.
Who's the guy talking? Because I've got a funny story about that thing as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, caller. Yeah, because I got no degrees. Yeah, because if you know in geometry or whatever, 0 is 360. So I've already claimed publicly I'm a 360-degree Mason. Because I got no degrees.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, "Oh my God, he is God." Yes, just accept everything he says. It is funny though, because it's true as well. 0 is 360. So you basically,
give me
long and short of it, you're better off without getting good degrees.
Huh? What was that?
You're better off without degrees.
Yeah,
and in this age, you can get.
I'm sort of taking my time doing it. Yeah. I'm taking my time promoting doing the promotions, using college as a vessel to build up the platform I need for free, so I don't have to pay money to travel. The college will pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I went to college. I turned up. It was like my sort of like Jess O'Heller period. And like the ironic thing is, I'd already read Mission Earth, and I already said to people like, "Oh, I'm going for my Jess O'Heller period." Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you haven't read it, it doesn't matter. It's a hilarious book. Mission Earth. It's about his character called Jess O'Heller. He's basically
that's your sources and everything. Cool. Let me get
It's interesting.
6 is cool. Thanks.
Yeah, let's break up on the line.
Actually, 5 is cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm gonna get off soon.
Can anybody? Yeah. I can't actually keep any track of that. So.
I know 7.
I feel you.
Suppose we got too many people on the line. I suppose I don't know.
Yeah, especially with a maggot coming on, eating up all the time. You know.
Yeah. Oh, keep quiet.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been on the call?
I've been on at like 7:30, 7:20, something like that.
Sure. My bad. I didn't even see it until just now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I guess
Off to
nobody.
Williamsburg.
Who?
Yo, what's up? You wanna do a? I'm doing like mad propaganda in like August. If you wanna like create some propaganda, my boy has a print shop we can use for free, and you just gotta do your own.
You be telling me you'll just come out and just start saying the most bugged. You gonna create some propaganda? I'm trying to get this money. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm all right, man.
I'm actually trying to end the women's suffrage.
End or you said
end
like end it?
End. Yeah, just.
You gotta do that one chick at a time, bro. One chick at a time.
Yeah, I know. It's just that the bitch has been getting too uppity. They, you gotta like smack them down sometimes. It's like, no, sweetie, you don't vote for someone because they have a 6-pack abs. That's how we got Obama, and now shit is fucked up.
Yeah, I mean now, of course, because Bush did such a wonderful job.
Oh no, he's horrible too.
Shit.
Oh, trust me,
I feel glad that the only thing I like Obama for is I'm pretty certain he'll have a faster FEMA response if like a coastal city floods.
Yeah, don't. He's only half black. Slow it down.
I didn't say anything about race, but
Oh well, I know. I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
Don't. I'm like, don't freaking think that. Don't think that.
Well, you know.
Oh goodness, I would still prepare to get the fuck out of Dodge because.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, response is only after the disaster itself. Like it's not, it doesn't.
Well, yeah,
still,
right. If the shit hit the fan, you look in the mirror for help because this dude is like, well, we don't got no money and really.
I'm just waiting for China to say they don't respect the dollar.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
That's more of a problem.
Can I interrupt a second? What do you guys?
Huh?
What do you guys reckon is going to happen after?
I mean, America
what do you guys
is
reckon
equilibrium between two different sides.
What's going to happen after what? This was going to happen, right?
Yeah,
it's going to have flooding and earthquakes. It's going to be like 2012 scenario.
Yeah, that's
but
what
not
I'm saying. Yeah, 2012. What do you guys reckon is going to happen after 2012? I mean, you got to assume that life's going to carry on.
No, I didn't say 2000. I said 2012 scenario. Like
in 2013, the race wars begin.
For real this time, sort of thing.
White people and black people, you're going down. This is gonna be a brown. This is gonna be a Hispanic world.
Oh my God.
Oh God, that means you're gonna reach carrying capacity of the population tomorrow.
Well.
This is going to be a Catholic world filled with like non-aborting people. Just
Hey,
at least we'll make it a space quicker.
No?
So Jared was saying like there was going to be loads of earthquakes and volcanoes. You've seen Flash Gordon. Did you realise that was like implying that it's actually like artificially induced? Because that's at the beginning of Flash Gordon, Ming the Merciless is like sitting behind his control disk, and he's got like the earthquakes and stuff going on. And he's like,
and that just tells me there's still no cure for alopecia. Ming the Merciless was bald.
I just assume alopecia is just like a really bad pop in 2012. She's going to turn up in 2012 and that's what you were talking about.
Ah.
No, he was based. His appearance was based on Anton LaVey, the head of the Church of Satan, as far as I know. Mm-hmm. He looks and acts almost identical to him, and you know.
Anton LaVey came from a gypsy family. He was like raised in circuses and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
He's just,
he had the same sort of look to him, almost exactly the same. You know, it's like pretty much you could like put Anton LaVey in a Hollywood studio or something, and he'd look like the guy who played Being the Merciless. Pretty much.
That's all it is. That's what news and what people take as real events. Like it's just all scripted. You know, like Charles Manson. You know, why do we have these interviews where why they show him like that on TV, acting all crazy and doing absolutely ridiculous shit? Because he's working with them. They're in on it together.
I've heard he's only like that on camera. I've heard he's only like that on camera. I'm not saying off camera he's a wise intellectual soothsayer or anything like that, but when he's on camera, obviously he knows when the cameras are coming in, and so he'll start putting on his crazy acts.
Yeah.
He's one of theirs. I mean, he knows. He understands how the system functions. So
he's in the system, isn't he? He's right in the system. If you're in prison, in prison and all that, yeah. There's no way out. I mean, I don't even know if indoctrinated is the proper word, but you're enmeshed in it.
Well, I think he was bred. I think they actually like made him out of a test tube, and they made him. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, usually those people are. I mean, his whole name is
it's not
allegorical name.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Son of man.
Mm-hmm.
Son of man, son. All these guys are all usually they're all test tube babies. Most of these people.
Yeah.
And you look at their name. That's what Freemasonry. When you look at it, it's all about breeding and genetic engineering and growing people. It's like a cow fucking farm.
I think.
Well, like Exo
monasteries, and then that's what nuns are all about. They all immaculate conception. They call it.
You heard about that nun that got caught for lying about a rape?
Yeah.
Saying she was raped, she wasn't raped.
Mhm.
Yeah. But she was.
I didn't see it. My mother was telling me about it. I didn't. I don't know what the whole story is.
But a nun lied about a rape. Oh. When she, wow. You know what?
She wished she had been raped, but she really didn't hit a thing.
Yeah, this just
from what I hear about it.
No matter what, women are bitches.
What do you expect though? Like, she like if once it comes out that you're having sex, because they get food, they get everything. They get taken care of by an institution.
Yeah.
So if you comes out, you're saying you're having sex or whatever, then you lose all that, and so of course she's gonna sit there and lie. I mean, that makes logical sense to me.
Right.
You know, those people, priests and popes, they're there to just promulgate themselves. They just to survive for themselves. They only care about their own kind. Same thing with politicians. You know, all these different groups, they just care about themselves. Their people, their kind. So they'll say whatever to keep themselves in power.
Yeah, I also heard the nuns had the best grasp of eugenics. I heard they had the best sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's sort of like the best sort of like breeding possibilities, and they're behind a lot of the sort of like what you might call like royal or elite breeding.
That's what they're there for. They're just dollies. That's all they are. They
They just and matchmakers as well. So like usually the cult, the more usual term. Yeah. They'll arrange for certain people to meet certain other people at certain times, and is that It's
all genetic engineering, big plot. It's just one big, the one group of nuns I learned about recently was the Grey Nuns that originated in Montreal, like in the west end of Montreal. They call themselves the Grey Nuns, the Order of the Grey Nuns.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. These guys are like, from what I've learned, they're at the capstone of the pyramid. They're the most powerful group, and nobody even can't even see it. They all everybody, because they're the ones who are behind things. They're the clerks inside, whatever institution. They're the ones. Because clerks are so important. Like they're the ones who, the boss, has a secretary.
It's even more simple than that. Because as a guy, you might be like really powerful. You might be like really virile. You might be this and that. You might be the best. You might be the best sort of manager, best sort of manly man in the world ever. But you still need women in order to breed. In order to like pass and carry on.
Yeah. So when people look at Obama, it's always don't look at Obama. Look at his wife. She's the one that's running the show. Because that's how they work.
They know as well, and they were here first as well, sort of like chicken and egg sort of thing.
So number 2 is always number 1. That's the rules of the game on the chessboard. The queen is the most powerful. The king just runs around in circles, and he's just a cosmetic piece. So always look at the one behind him. Always look at vice president.
But exactly, you always protect the most important, don't you? That's why men have the protective instinct.
Yeah. So the men are just doing all the. They're in the front. They like people think that these guys are actually doing something, but they don't really do anything. Like the ones who are, and they give the allegory of that in the Bible because they've been doing this for a long time. Esther,
they're like the frontline soldiers.
Yeah, Esther.
Have you guys read the Dune series yet? The Dune novels? In the Dune novels by Frank Herbert, they specifically have an entire group called the Orange Catholic. They follow the Orange Catholic Bible, and all of the nuns are essentially breeders for the church. Even like the main character, his like whole parental lineage was controlled in order so that they could create what they called the Kwisatz Haderach, and that's like this end-all, be-all being that can actually go mentally into a place that the women in the story could not go to. He was able to combine somehow reality and this mystical place that kind of makes a breach into like the ether where you can almost touch God, quote unquote, for the lack of better terminology.
It's crossing the
They're
abyss.
talking about the image, probably. Whenever they talk about this being, it was like seems so superior.
In the OSS or whatever, the Crowleyan system of magic, it's called crossing the abyss. The abyss is basically female femininity or whatever, because the abyss is represented by 0. Because 0 and 1, 0 is female, 1 is male.
Hermaphrodite.
In the binary system.
Female, binary code.
Never mind, that's sort of a different thing. So it's all related. But the Kwisatz Haderach or whatever was the guy who crossed the abyss, but he's like the guy who's like I won't get physical, but he's the guy who crossed the abyss. His manliness was big enough that he could cross the abyss anytime he wanted, sort of thing. He could always cross the abyss. He's that powerful.
Well, abyss is a code word. It's AB is out of in Latin, and then you have Y, which is the priesthood, and SS is super slave or shape shifting. So shape shifting out of the Y, it's a super slave out of the Y. It's basically that's what they started in Egypt with Nefertiti in that dynasty. I think it was the 18th dynasty, where they basically decided, because when you understand how human beings were made, they basically decided to reverse the natural process and make females out of male. And that's what you see today. People like Hillary Clinton.
That's in the Bible, isn't it? Isn't it? Eve was made out of the rib of Adam.
Yeah, well, that's genetic engineering. That's stem cells.
Yeah, the Anunnaki totally created like humanity. If you read the old ancient Sumerian texts, like they took their own genealogy and added it to the genealogy of like the simian apes, monkeys, whatever that was
well, they
around.
call us
that
the
maybe
apes.
even
The
Neanderthal.
human beings are the Homo sapiens, sapien. That's what we are. Like that's why you have like in 2001, the Space Odyssey. They're talking about people.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. That book. In a way, when you've studied this stuff long enough, I mean, it's hilarious because they touch the stone, as in they're masons. You know, because like
that's
you know,
even
like
is the boss. It's the Neanderthal. It's representing the phallic symbol, and the phallic is really just talking about. It's just that needle they're talking about that inserts into an egg. It's the generative principle. That's the generative principle. I mean, it's inseminating an egg.
You're kind of right. You're kind of right, but it's just basically touching the stone, which is like touching the essence of the earth. Because you know, because under the earth you got the stones and the rocks, and you got the masons, as in like the Masonics or whatever. But they're only like emanating from it. But yeah, I mean, it's like Blackstone, so it's like it's touching the essence, which is like touching thought, basically. You know, it's just like
what it is. It's telling you the same Masonic story. In the beginning was the word, but that's what they say. But it was it's the thought, then came the word, then came language, and then it manifests into reality. So what they're saying is, it's the big idea. The boss. Neanderthal, it was their idea, and their idea, these guys are working off of that idea. These apes.
Yeah.
So they
and also
it's their will. They're manifesting. We're manifesting the boss's will. Neanderthal or troglodyte.
The monkey that reaches the rock. He's a monkey.
Yeah, he's a science. He's getting help from another more intelligent species or something.
Yeah. Which in Christian mythology would be like Satan, basically, because Satan is like one from within the earth, and rocks are like expelled from the earth, which is like the strongest substance expelled from the earth. Because if you compress a rock to a certain degree, not to use double entendres, you get a diamond.
It was these guys that lived before the Ice Age, that lived in the earth. They still do. Like they understood that this planet has these levels. The crust, the moho discontinuity, upper mantle, lower mantle.
Yeah.
So they knew that like this area called the moho discontinuity was made out of basalt. And basalt is BA salt. It's intelligence. So it's made out. It's everything that's ever lived. It comes into this rock. That's why Masons talk about rock. This rock is very important. Like it's DNA.
Well, yeah, it's what they build from.
Yeah, they build tunnel systems, and they give that clue in Louvre Museum in Paris with the geodesic domes. That's how it looked like in their little down there. It's a tunnel network they're talking about.
I was thinking the International Space Station actually has a dome built into it. I mean, I heard it on A View from Space. I was like, that was just so ridiculous. I thought he's just like, they're just like picking at the most sort of like obscure things, but there's actually a dome built into the space station, into the International Space Station. It's just like it seems to serve no logical function apart from like giving you a really crap view of a bit more of the space station. So they're really into this stuff, even in outer space.
Yeah, well, spears are really important because that's what you see in nature. Spears. It's everywhere. Spears and circles and spirals, and squares are actually the most unnatural thing. So all above ground, all our buildings are like all these points and squares.
Yeah. Because sort of like divert, but like also like beyond the same point. Monkey's actually really important as well in the whole Masonic. I don't know if you studied much about Monkey King, Sun Wukong, in the Eastern sort of mythologies, religion.
Yeah, I came across like they use monkey as like a symbol. I've seen it once. I never got into it too deep. I didn't get a chance.
The monkey, I mean, basically, Monkey's something who messes things up. He's sort of like a Joker figure.
Yeah.
But he's also the guy who got sent to heaven and got dismissed from heaven as well. Sort of like Lucifer or Satan.
Like Prometheus.
Prometheus as well.
That's what I was talking about with the fire. The fire, it goes all the way back to Prometheus. It made sense for me. Prometheus. They're talking about a time this community. They were Moostrians, Eastern Europeans, and they gave fire to human beings, and that's what that all is. That fire. So they gave fire. This is the science, the thought they gave. They was like a higher intelligence, and they gave this fire to people, and these people that they gave it to were their agents. So like it's basically signifying a contract that they had. It was like because when they released the human beings from underground after the Ice Age, they called them freed my sons, and they said, well, instead of altering caves, you have to, if you alter people, will free you, and they became free my sons. So this fire is like basically a contract. That's contract law. I'm seeing that. Like that's one of the main things I see in contract law. They said silence. A contract could be expressed through silence and signs. And I was like, what? That's crazy, because that's what all Freemasonry is about, man. It's all contract, and it doesn't matter if you understand it. I think, as long as they put it out there, and if you don't understand, that's your problem. So like they can talk about the stuff in movies, and you're acquiescing. You're because you're basically agreeing by not.
Basically, if you don't understand it, somebody else will.
Yeah.
That's the logic behind it. Yeah, because they already know about the whole the planet being bugged and everybody's being spied on and stuff like that, and so they all know. Like I was saying before, if you don't understand it, somebody else will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, it's that whole thing in law, like it's called like revelation of the method. Like they have to tell you before they kill you. The willing fool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like the demons or the jinns, like explain to the humans why they operate and how they operate. Because the jinn, on the most basic level, is the spirit devolved into the body. So jinn is like somebody who knows they're a spiritual being. It's got nothing to do with good or evil. It's just like we know what we are, sort of thing. And so we have to explain ourselves to you so that when the next jinn comes along, he doesn't have to do it as well. And
jinn too could be looked at. The genie was a test tube. It's like the spirit is DNA.
Yeah.
And spear
it also
is basically saying spear it. Put a needle in it and inseminate it. Spear it. It's DNA they're talking about. Like the
bring it new.
Yeah, they always. It always comes back down to, at least for me, like with genetic engineering, DNA, and there's so many levels of interpretation, but like they'll use fantastical, magical terms like spirituality to kind of throw people off. So people are like kind of spun off, and they're taking it. Like people, like a lot of people out here saying the New Age crowd, like, oh, it'll be a new Earth, and we'll be in light and stuff like this, and they don't understand what they're even saying. Like they really think like it'll be like some happy ending. It would be happy ending, not for them, but for other people. And that's another thing. The stuff is all about context.
Yeah. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back 5 minutes.
It's always, this stuff is all about context too. From whose perspective are they saying this? When you read like these statements and stuff they say. So, and another thing with the genie, like it's symbolic. Why was his genie blue? All these, like
he was
every
frustrated
little,
sexually.
Yeah, he was had blue balls or something. But
yeah,
they always, every detail is something, has a whole bunch of meaning behind it. Like you can't miss any, like this. You can't like take anything for granted. A lot of people do.
Hey, Jared.
Hello?
Hey.
Who's this?
Hey, it's Chris from Oklahoma.
Chris from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I've never spoken to you before.
Oh.
My first time calling in here.
Yeah. Where are you coming from?
So,
I mean, like, how'd you find out about this?
Glenn Keely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you researched the stuff before?
Yeah, I was just checking it out and ran across some audios where you were having a conversation with Glenn.
Yeah.
That's how I heard about you. And then, I've been using this shoe website fairly recently. And ran across your talk here. So, yeah, I spoke to Glenn before. I called him up off his website, talked to him about some of the word sculpting. That's what he refers to it as.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that to be really interesting, and so I was asking some questions about it. But like some of the stuff like he goes into, and I just wanted to ask you about seems like he, like both guys and some of the guys on that you're speaking to there, they accept that evolution. Is that correct?
But I can't speak for anybody but myself.
Oh yeah, I understand.
I believe in intelligent creation.
With evolution, right? Evolution. This is what I've come to discover. Yes, there was an evolution, and yes, there was an intelligent design. Intelligent designers. They were genetic engineers, and they were the ones who evolved. They evolved, and we human beings were fabricated. We had a modified form of evolution. It was science. It was an understanding of science that they had. So that's what, like, when you go in Egypt and you see the double Uraeus, the snake entwined, the snake represents like wisdom and that stuff. So they're saying they have a high understanding of DNA. So like in the media they tell you evolution versus creation, and they leave it at that. They polarize. They leave it two sides arguing, but they never tell you the third option. And those two things actually meet in the middle.
Can I tell you the answer I gave in my shows? Evolution or evolution is human design. That's it. I mean, I'm sorry, my answers to things are really simple. I've done that. It's like alchemy for me. Evolution is human design. So if you're saying something evolved from something else, you're saying humans designed it that way,
Yeah, well, evolution of the universe. I mean, all you gotta do is just look at. You don't even have to go and read books. All you have to do is look at nature itself. That's the greatest teaching ever had. And all the principles are there. You see how it evolves. You see how things go back in the circle. It's just eternal, everything. It's right there, and that's where they all get it from.
Yeah.
When you look at all their Bibles and their book, it's all based off of nature. And what they try to do, that's what Freemasonry is. It's a mirror of nature. They are actually the stain behind a mirror. They mirror nature, but they redirect it in the direction they want it to go. So, Tain is phonetically the same as stain. Is phonetically the same as saint. It's phonetically the same as Nazi. It's all the same thing. Antis and
Yeah.
So all the same. They're all Nazis. It's their philosophy. It's fascist. That's what it's all about, and it has nothing to do with Hitler killing the Jews. I mean, he just took the name. He was doing exactly what they wanted. He engineered everybody. Everybody breeding the way he wanted them to. But it's.
I was watching on TV actually. They had Saint Nicholas, and I was sort of like guffawing in the background. It was some sort of like trucker thing or whatever on TV. Really sort of like GUI or common sort of like intellect program. Really silly or whatever. They had Saint Nicholas, which is Saint Satan.
Satan is saying Satan. Satan. Tan is another.
Satan.
Or it's Satan is another phonetic way of saying saint or Nazi. So when you look at Santa Claus, you're saying Satan's cause. So what's the cause?
Satan's claws. There's that thing going around the internet. They go Satan's claws. Oh, hence it's evil.
Satan. Say this Satan and devil and God. These guys are it's the same person. When you in Kabbalah, you learn that it's the same.
Yeah. Or even actually, if you understand Buddhism, even if you understand Buddhism or Hinduism, you understand it's the same person trying to understand themselves. I mean, without even if you go to understand, all that sort of level of like comprehension, it's the same person. It's like because. Even if you read in the Bible, Satan was originally Lucifer. Lucifer was this guy. He went on a bit much about God, saying how amazing he was. So you could say he was like the mirror of God, or whatever, or he was like his embarrassing gay lover, or whatever. Well, how do you want to interpret it? So he's like God was like, "Whoa, get out of my face!" and poof, sent him way down to earth. And that, I mean, basically, they're almost on the same level, and so they're the same person. They're either a reflection of the same person, or so close they could be like related, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, you could even go back earlier, like in Genesis, when he created the world. They say in 7 days. After the 6th day, God rests, but then it's the Lord God. And if you know what Lord means, it means representative of. So that's not that character God anymore. It's the Lord God. So they're playing these little word games. They play.
Like you have a landlord. Like you have a landlord.
Yeah.
You have a landlord.
Lords and Middle Ages.
So you own your house, whatever. Even in medieval times, it meant a bit more. But even in like modern times, landlord is just the guy who owns your house.
Yeah. So what other question did you have, Chris? Hello, Chris?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just dropped off there for a minute. And, on to evolution, I just, you have to accept that premise that it happens. Evolution happens. And, like you say, you could see it around you and the world around you. The problem I have with it is I don't necessarily see it. I've been told it happened, but we're told a lot of things happen that may or may not have happened. I don't as far as evolution now. I've been to the Smithsonian Museum. It's in Washington D.C. and it's basically I would say a shrine. It's basically a shrine. They have every skeleton, different species and type
Chris, are you downloading something or uploading something?
Yeah, you got cool sound effects on your voice.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you got popcorn.
Sounds bad. Yeah, I don't think I'm
gonna
be able
it's
to.
like you're saying something and you go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I hear you, bro. So you're saying you're being told evolution, but you gotta remember, evolution, when they tell you it, they tell you Darwin's evolution, but Darwin's like missing a crucial point in what he's saying. And a crucial point, I put it to you, is genetic engineering. Like that's the whole thing. And he kind of refrains from saying that. So, you can't. You're not going to have direct evidence of evolution because you weren't there millions of years ago.
Yeah.
What you have is circumstantial evidence, and after a certain,
it's measured over. Sorry to interrupt. Evolution is measured over at least thousands of years. So, regardless of you believe it or not believe it, you've got to live for thousands of years in order to prove it. Yeah, because unless you want to believe the scientists.
Well, you can. It's called preponderance of circumstantial evidence. It's after time. After you've gathered evidence from so many different avenues and it all points a certain direction, then you can, then you they call it it's overwhelming, and it becomes a shadow of a doubt. That it's okay, this is it. There's so many different studies that with evolution, that show that. Because evolution, it's a principle. Like things learn. You're here to learn, and you learn and experience, and then you die. But like, in each time you learn, you learn more and more, and you become tougher. It's like a principle in rain. Water comes down, it's rain, and it comes back down. It's ice, it's slush. It becomes tougher and tougher. It's learning more and more each time, and it's evolving. It's like a seed. It starts off with a seed. It's like the universe. Big Bang, a seed, and then it expands and expands into trees, and then it becomes compressed again in that little seed, and it grows again. New lessons learned every time.
So if I change my definition of evolution equals human design to evolution equals thought design, do you reckon that'd be more correct?
No, thought design.
Yeah, evolution equals thought design.
What do you mean?
Sorry, because I do actually come up with these wacky theories all of my own. Evolution is the design of thought. It's like you think, I'll try this method, even if you're scamming a system. I'll try this method. Well, that didn't work, and so I'll try a slightly different way. So I guess if that slightly different way, the second way works better than the first way, then you'd have an evolution of that design.
Well.
Because
are you talking about like a trial and error type of thing?
Yeah, basically, in a way, trial and error with a bit of genius, I suppose. Because so you don't go through 10 billion combinations. If you understand computing enough, then computers sometimes go through billions of different combinations in order to even get your computer started.
I find looking for common denominators and things. What's the common denominator and things like that's what I look for. Or we'll look for on the other hand, look for what doesn't fit in here, what's not.
Yeah. But a lot of things with the psyche, the thought, transposing itself over matter or whatever, space, it's really, you don't know anything about where you're going. The easiest way to describe it is if you're locked in a room with a psychopath, and the guy's a total nutcase, and you've got to survive for 30 minutes, and he's in the middle of a deeper, meaningful conversation, and you've got no idea who it's with, so you really got to use your full capacity in order to survive. So, you just use intellect, judgment, logic, everything else you can do. But yeah, that would be the evolution. The evolution would be you survived 1 minute the first time, you survived 1 minute and 10 seconds second time, Because
everything. I mean, it's constant. That's how the universe. Every minute we're changing. Every second you're not the same as you were yesterday. Your cells are changing. You change all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how the universe is. Like, it's just it evolved to the point.
That's how it learns.
Yeah, it learns. It's learning.
Yeah. Stuff like the Big Bang. Do you prescribe to that? I just thought that was some wacko theory or somebody's.
Yeah, with the Big Bang, it's just the only thing is they find that Einstein's theory, unified theory of the universe, that it doesn't work at gravity. Everything else works out, but at gravity it goes all wrong. So scientists are studying gravity. What made gravity gravity? And they're saying that it was a sound. Well, not they're saying, but I'm finding out that it was actually a sound that was played or something.
That gets you into the New Age, unfortunately, because
everything has a grain of truth. All these groups have something that they say that's true, and then they go off into another direction. It's like that's what the Y represents.
Hey, Jared, can I ask you something? I mean, the origin of the Neanderthals. Mm-hmm. What's your take on that? I mean, we're talking
origin, about they're the original. They came from the dinosaurs. See, we're taught that dinosaurs were all huge people, but no, there were small dinosaurs too. And these Neanderthals, they're the dinosaurs. That's what Neand is, basically derivative of Dino, meaning that they're the old ones, and Saurs is the ruse, because they didn't come first. It was the cat that was before them, and that's where clan mothers, the hermaphrodite Homo habilis.
So you're saying dinosaurs is like great cats?
What happened?
You're saying dinosaurs is like an anagram of great cats?
No, dinosaurs. The original dinosaurs were cats. Basically, that's why the cats are really important. That's why they worship them in Egypt, because human beings, this version of human beings, we came from cats. If you look at females and how they are, like a cat, the cats, it was the same. That's the allegory of Tarzan, like this human being who's raised around animals. Well, that's what happened with, how Homo habilis came to be. It was like this animal that was raised around cats, and it picked up, and just through millions of years, like these Neanderthal, another word for Neanderthal is Homo erectus. And then Homo habilis. But these two different, they were twins. They were born from the same animal, but over millions of years of evolution, they were raised in different areas. They were different social engineering, and Neanderthal symbolism behind him. They were raised around in marshy areas, around. They talk about hippopotamus.
Well, that's good. That ties in with Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. But I mean, I always thought the best area to live in is a marsh.
Exactly.
In a marsh with Yoda.
I'm just wondering about their intellect. I mean, according to
the reason why
story,
they're intelligent, because not all of them were geniuses or idiot savant. There was a group of them that was cut off. Like cryogenics, that were cut off from everybody, like frozen in time, and they were cut off from everybody. And that group of people, 144,000 of them, that's what they say, became genius. What happened?
Don't you think that's what happened in Logan's Run?
Oh, Logan's Run, yeah. They, if I remember,
it was an example of that. Yeah. I won't boast about the NCPG.
But they show the allegory of these guys, Neanderthals, in the movie like the never-ending story. That old turtle who always talks in as we. He never says I. It's we. We are legion. We are one, but we are legion. We are many, but we are one. That's them.
Yeah, cool.
They downloaded themselves in their computer. They are Hal. It's Hal. It's a computer.
How is basically Satan? How is basically Satan? Because
Satan,
ambition,
it's God, it's all of that stuff. It's the
because Satan's ambition is basically to reach the stars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Satan's like trapped to the earth.
That's the only logical
so
way for it. It's in this program. But like the Neanderthals, in all of science fiction, there's a site I went on. If you look at Glenn Keely's premise of what he's saying, keep that in mind. And go on this site called Radio Archive. I've listened to like hours of like MI6 stuff that it's this MI6 that puts this information out there, and these guys kind of run with it. Good. So that's why like you'll go on science fiction, and in the UK they're playing. This is all BBC radio. I'm talking about this BBC stuff
all the time. So have you got a site for the MI6?
It's called Radio Archive. It's a Radio Archive. Just type in Radio Archive BBC in Google. It's all BBC, like just audio books, and like I've gotten hours of science. I went into the science fiction section, and some classical stuff is good too, but science fiction, like, just keep that, what Glenn Keely says in mind, and you'll see they're saying the exact same thing that he's saying in a way, right? And they're putting it all in allegory, and I'm like, wow, and I'm seeing that they're actually admitting. And I know Glenn did not listen to all of these things. I know he didn't listen.
No.
So, like...
You don't need to. You don't need to, because if you study this stuff, it's like you basically become a radio antenna.
Mm-hmm.
I could diverse in a way, because, like, the I don't know if you call it Hindu singers, dancers, the girls with the hands pressed together, the palms pressed together, which is 21. But they do that thing, and they do that thing with their neck, like left and right, and they got the thing on their head. They're basically saying their radio transmitter.
Yeah, like that's what meditation is. They tell you to clear your mind, right? But they have technology where they can put things into your mind. You clear your mind so they can program you, put things into your brain. But like that's
that's it. Yeah.
So like
Michael Jackson, Black and White. I think it was the video he did for Black and White. He had some of those Hindu dancers, whatever, Buddhist dancers, and they had the things on their heads or whatever, and they had the hands. The hands together, like the palms together, which is 21, because it's like you got the two elbows, and you got the one hand, which is like the two palms joined together, which is basically conjunction.
So, like, what do you think it means? Like 3 Trinity, 2 + 1 is 3. They always talk about the Trinity. The Trinity is the 3
in 1. Version 12 as well.
Yeah,
because he had like 12 apostles of Jesus, so it's 13. But because like nobody really mentions it, but that makes him a witch. So possibly he had 21 followers instead, or 20 followers instead, because he didn't really know that.
These so like those Neanderthals, like you go on that site, it's like I see.
I'll look into that. Yeah.
How they describe aliens, right? These aliens, right? These big-headed. That's what they look like. Like that. Like that's when you look at how the details of how these aliens, so-called aliens, look. They look like almost like something that's lived in a marshy area. Very weak, but highly intelligent. Like that's what they look like.
Well, I heard Jay-Z is from the Marshy Projects.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm from the Marshy Project too. I love something away from them.
Yeah, but
it's 18 feet above sea level, so I could understand where it comes from.
I just kind of find it hard for to go back. If I go back on that time where the Neanderthals separated from everybody else.
Well, you're not gonna find. You can find scientific stuff. You kind of got dig through. I have an audio file. I'm gonna go find it. A professor is talking about what Glenn's saying with Neanderthals, I forgot what university, he did an interview. He doesn't know anything about conspiracy or anything. He's just researching into like the scientific data and stuff. And he's fine. He's like, it was Neanderthal. He said they were very weak. They had people feed them. These guys are so scientific. It's like when you create, it's like you invent, say human beings, they invent forks or something. And like, you use this fork, but like you become more technologically advanced, but you lose things physically. Each advancement, like you lose teeth because you're not using them anymore. Well, take that concept, and that's what Neanderthal. They don't do anything. They're the ones that Milton. I think it was T. Milton, T. M. Milton. I think it's T.H. Milton. I'm not sure. I know it's Milton. But Milton basically said we serve those who sit and wait. Who's he talking about? It's them. They don't do any. These are the real bosses. They don't do shit, man. They just sit back and just give orders. So you can go as far as you want up the pyramid and point all these fingers at these guys.
I was waiting for a second. Milton. Milton is Paradise Lost.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. Yeah. So Milton,
yeah. I'm on the Wikipedia thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he said that about so. Oh,
it's hilarious because it's like combination of my two last names, but never mind.
But like,
the whole system though feeds off energy. Like energy.
It's a will. It's a program that is surging through the whole system. It's like
people volunteer for the system to be in operation. Like it's not like
in a way like they will the will of the system because they're not fully aware of even themselves. So, like, they basically lowered everybody to, like, a basic level. And so, like, they make everybody predictable and all this stuff. But, like, the main thing about it all is to get everybody to will the will of the people who set up the system. So this program is basically towards self-destruction because that's what happened to them. From when I look at allegories and stuff. It seems
you're kind of right. You'll get if you're so new to this arena, it's like let's pretend you like woke up yesterday with like full cognizance of the English language, basically understand the English language. You'd understand more of what the reality of the situation is in today through watching horror films. It's more of a horror story.
It's more like it doesn't matter what theme. The theme is just the theme. It's just the cover. They can make a comedy out of it and show you.
Yeah. I mean, horror works a bit better because it's all about possession and people being taken over by things that are greater than them.
Yeah, that's one where there's one story. What's that story with the guy? He comes home, right, and like his wife is like culturing this little demon baby. It's like it's totally surreal. The whole movie is like surrealism is really good. I think.
Damien.
It wasn't Damien.
There's one movie called Possession.
Possession. That's what it was. Possession. Came out in 1981. That was a really good one. The symbolism was incredible.
I saw it the other week.
The end was like wow, like it was so obscure. Most people wouldn't get it, but like the color, everything. It was the color of the eyes. What?
When you mention the word will, are you referring to psychic energy or mental energy?
I mean, will is like it's okay. This is where they get it all from. Like since they get everything from nature, right? They all copy nature. So in the beginning was the word, they say, but like I said before, was the thought. So like they're copying something that's bigger than them. And there's like when you look at like the instincts of a bird and like people's intuition and stuff, the instinct of a bird, how can they know these things? How can they know these things and not be taught this stuff? It's because it was remembered from something else. They're just a thought in a larger like existence. They're just a thought in something like a brain. Something. This universe is like basically somebody else's brain with just a thought. And so the thinker doesn't come up with the thought. It's the thought that the thinker forms around. It's the thought that comes out with the thinker. It's the thought that came first. It was a thought that ensouled everything. It was just everywhere, and from the thought formed the planet and everything else. It was something else. Something else's will. It wasn't a person though. It was something else that was. It was the first cause. It's what created the universe. It created. And Glenn Keely describes it as creation. So it's
you're right on the basics. I mean, you're right. As in, thought was being greater than the body, sort of thing. I mean, I've actually done a whole thing about it, and it's like well, you have to give me 2 minutes. Okay, at the lowest level you got the body, and at the level above you got mind. One mind can control many bodies. At the level above that you got soul. One soul can control many minds. The level above that you got spirit. One spirit can control many souls. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's that simple. But
wait. You gotta say that again, because I was just zoning out looking at my Netflix, and I just heard something just now. Say that again. The levels that you were just describing.
You got a hierarchy. Yeah. You got four names to remember in the hierarchy. You've got the body, the mind, the soul, and the spirit.
Yeah, but the soul and spirit is the same thing. The dividing and conquering.
In my thing, the soul is your perspective. The soul is how you see things. If you imagine a mountain, the soul is where you're on the mountain. Because every soul has a different perspective on the mountain.
Well, soul is like the best way of describing DNA. It's everything that's everything that you are.
Did you say mind is just like storage?
Your DNA.
Mind is just a tool. Consciousness is just a tool for day-to-day things, for a task. That's all. That's not what gets remembered when you die. It doesn't come with you. It's your experiences and your DNA that survive. And when you understand that concept, what DNA is, then you understand all the mystery schools, what they're all talking about. Then you understand what they meant by the Ka and the Ba.
I'm going to put this article on your page, right? Jared, I want to hear you guys' interpretation maybe on a later call of this article. It's a short article. It's in Columbia Business School. They teach a class called Strategic Intuition, right? And Strategic Intuition is a sort of, it's like the way they describe it within your hierarchy, if you were to look at it, that's why I'd like to get your perspective, would be the library of the mind, basically. Like the way Napoleon won wars was he cataloged in his mind, per se, several wars, right? And not just the wars, but the individual battles within the wars. So the way that people were doing strategy back then was they would plan out the whole war from the beginning and just fight to the end. That was it. One plan, that's it. His thing was to create several different plans within that. So he would, based on the situation, the weather, the elevation, or the lack of elevation, he would have several plans for each little specific battle. So he had sort of an evolved stratagem at that time. It was more Sun Tzu-ish, but this is it was more Sun Tzu-ish than thermodynamically aligned. It was more chaotic.
Intuition, right, is it's the part of you that defies logic. It's irrational. It's knowledge, but it's not. You can't put it in the form like you do with reason. Reason has a form to it. It's like thought, because reason is just thought and form. I guess you could say, and intuition is just the irrational.
But reason is determined by the ethical or moral principle of the person. So if you're like a hedonist, then you'd have a different ability of reason, or you would come to different conclusions based on your reason versus someone who's utilitarian or altruistic, or somebody who's a capitalist. right?
Yeah,
like
but those capitalists and all that stuff, it's just different programs, different mindsets.
I posted a link to my blogs on the chat room. Yeah, intuition, it basically means in teacher, secret teacher. It's a teacher inside you.
Yeah,
it's like tuition. Yeah,
it's who you really are. It's Sigmund Freud's id. It's the id. It's your.
Yeah. It's your own secret master. It's your own secret college or secret school, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really. It's not really concerned about the word phrases you attach to it. It's intuition is the sort of thing that
Let's say you have a. I just came back on the chat.
Okay.
Let's
say you have a bad intuition.
You are the silence between your thoughts.
Hello?
That's all you are. You're the silence between your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, intuition is the sort of thing. It's like let's say you had like a bad childhood or whatever. Intuition is the thing that tells you to like get out of the house.
Aren't you guys trying to define? Aren't you guys trying to define thought? And thought, no one can really see thought. I mean, I've heard of people being, their heads being checked after they're dead, right? And there's no brain. I mean, there's some.
Yeah, but when you hear me say thought, you're just thinking about thought like in the brain. But this is like a more
intuition,
advanced type of thought. See, thought this like it's crazy because we're using words to try to describe something which is beyond words. Man.
I mean, that's my point.
And that's why they created the words, was to create dissension. And you can't, to go back into your original way of thinking, you got to think in pictures and images, because they didn't communicate with words like this. I mean, they had a language, but it was the language that they had was more probably like a clicking type language. They could express so much more than how we have just black and white. That's it. I mean, you go in other cultures and they have 5 different words for a color. But English is like, you notice how English is spoken everywhere. It's because it's the language of this is the master language. It's the masterpiece right here. They call it master's piece.
Yeah.
They say so. Like that's Francis Bacon was behind all that. Shakespeare. He used Shakespeare as a Trojan horse to kind of get that out there, and now everybody's speaking it. It's totally encoded language.
It is all there. It's always been there. Like if you've actually got the sort of, if the right word is willpower to decipher it. I think it was like a band called New Order did a song called Bizarre Love Triangle or something, and I think their video consisted mainly of like really fast flashed images. Like what you call like I think ecclesiastical images, religious images, like splashed right at the screen. And that's basically sort of like how telepathy or whatever works. How you want to describe it, how proper thought works. When like got proper thought happening between people. I mean, you have it a lot of the time.
They put that in Inception too. The thought, like it goes when it's an idea they put into your head, and it defines you after a while. Like all they have to do is get that seed, that idea into your head. And you think that it's you. It becomes you, and you start manifesting their will. And that's the same concept with languages. Like you're saying one thing, you think these words mean one thing to you, but there's other groups of people who were taught the complete opposite. That no, these words mean this, and that's what it is. These words, it doesn't matter. It's like Alice in Wonderland. Perfect. Lewis Carroll says it. He goes, it's who's master. That's what matters.
That is the Alice in Wonderland stories. Far better.
It was amazing. That's a Masonic story. Whole thing. Through the Looking Glass. It's all allegory, and it's more that. See, I was watching a movie called Alphaville last night. It was a really good movie. And he said, he goes, sometimes reality is too complex to communicate, to convey with oral communication. That's why they had to. It's better to put it in what's the word? It's better to put it in legend. He said. Actually, I wrote it down. He said that.
I posted the article to the strategic intuition thing on the chat.
He goes, sometimes reality is too complex for oral communication, but legend embodies it in a form which enables it to spread all over the world. Like, you can go inside an allegory and, like, so many, like, deep realities are put in there that you can kind of veil. Like, look at, like, pictures. I can get a point across with just having, go look up. Like, I've been looking at symbolism and, like, surrealism and, like, surrealist, like, paintings and art. And, like, they can get, like, so much more across than what you can get with words, usually.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like it's a mental type of thing, you know.
With Dali, Salvador Dali, and all that sort of stuff, yeah. He was basically painting religious paintings. I haven't got any examples, but yeah, I know. I can tell.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I'm looking at them there, but...
Yeah. It's a messiah. It's a form of communication. I mean, like, I believe that people in the beginning, like, we're telepathic. We just it's not really used.
Yeah, of course.
I believe that we were telepathic. We were more telepathic. We were more. We use body language, all these things. That's what they meant when we all spoke one language in the beginning. It was body language, mind language, telepathy. They didn't really mean like another language like Spanish or something. They're talking about language of communication.
Telepathy has more to do with, in a historically sense, it has more to do like you go and spread and like find out for yourself and come back. Report to me, sort of thing. I mean, you know, that's in the Bible as well. You know, like he said, like whatever. Job said, like, fuck off and come back, or whatever. You know.
And the Bible is just that whole thing is like, I haven't completely deciphered everything. I'm still going through it. Like it's the words, the letters are all. Abraham. I mean, Abraham. You're talking out of bra, like Brahman, and Ram.
You mean that dude from
They
Martin?
have Ram in there. Ram is male.
Yeah, but
it's the masculine.
But Ham is associated with pigs, which is associated with
it's us, the pigs. They're us. That's who we are. That's what they mean. They're talking about, like...
And demons are deformed sort of perfection, so he's like the prime bad English. He's a prime defection, but you know what I mean. He's like the best of the bad lot, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, like that's what they do. That's what in religion they come up with, like Satan's and all. They try to embody everything inside this being, so you don't look at yourself. So, because, you know, like, we're all devils.
They use that stuff, they got no power to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been into this and that and whatever, and they actually have no power behind them. It's like, give me the power, hit me with your power, you know. It's like, what you can do, physically hit me, go on then. And they you know, even if they do it, it's puny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in Israel, you know what they used to do? They used to take a scapegoat. That's where you get the term scapegoat. They used to take a goat, and they would transfer, because they knew people wouldn't look at themselves for all the stuff that they did. So they said, okay, we're going to transfer all your sins into this goat, and we'll sacrifice this goat. Mm-hmm. And that's where you get the term scapegoat. Yeah. They do that in politics all the time, have scapegoats, and you know, because nobody wants to look at themselves. You know, that's where it starts. You know, that's where you know how the
That's the problem I always had. I don't know how to translate into English, but it's sort of like, what I don't understand is that most people don't really want to get back. You know, they don't learn enough. They don't want to find bad lessons about themselves.
It's because most people, a lot of people program, it's their thinking. Like, they've been so hoodwinked, like, with their thinking, which is like, another Another reason why I don't want to know is because they got to accept responsibility. Like, once you know you have, like, a type of responsibility to yourself, you know, and the rest of the world, because you know, like I know, like, what's going to happen. Like, I'm looking at it, I know it's going to, and I have to say something about it. Because, like, I mean, these people don't know. I got to speak up about it. Basically, I learned that the whole human race is going to be eradicated, and that's why they have people in secret society. They bribe them and blackmail them and make them take secret oaths, because after you go up, you realize there's certain things that you won't agree with, and you probably will say something about it. So they set it up well. By the time you get to that point, when they told you to take a picture with that little boy or little girl or have sex with whoever, they'll use that against you. They they always have to have some type of form of blackmail hanging over all the people.
Yeah, I know.
Jared, about the DNA, right? The DNA. I keep hearing. Well, I wouldn't say I keep hearing, but about the DNA. I mean, they hijacked what? Humanity or something?
They hijack creation. They hijack nature
but doesn't
itself.
the DNA return to creation, and creation has
final
say
what
on
what
DNA?
they saw creation doing with DNA,
So,
right? It brings people back, and people are born again. If people learn everything what it's about, then they come back and are reborn, and and they see that, and they said, okay, look at that principle. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna call it reincarnation. And they take DNA, they use DNA, and they reconstitute it. And same thing as like in the movie with the little boy and the whole world's flooded. The little robot boy wants to be a real boy, and at the end, what happened? These little alien, Neanderthals, reconstitute his mom from a piece of hair. Like they take DNA. If they want to have a psychopath or whatever, or a mass murderer, all they do is they take DNA from like places like prison, because that's what they do with all that DNA, and they take all the common denominators they've learned from all mass murderers, all people who kill, and then they take those common denominators and they put it all into an egg, and then they implant it into whoever, and they give birth to that person. And the whoever gives the nun whoever gives birth to this mass murderer, that now they know all they got to do now is just kind of turn them on. And so like the media plays a big role in that, because the media will know ahead of time like who these people are, and they actually follow these people like throughout their lives. And like I don't know if anybody ever knows, like whenever they have like a mass murder, like it's like they know everything about the person almost immediately, because they engineer that stuff. They take a big role in engineering. When a guy just wakes up out of nowhere and just say, "Oh, he's such a nice guy," and he just blows like 6 people's head off, because he was engineered. He's a lab rat. He's a test tube baby, and they'll give you the clue by looking at the names. They always use their middle names, and they always include their middle names. The middle names are telling you like who owns them. So, and when they kill these people, you'll notice like these people will like, will kill, will like they'll shoot like 33 people, like so perfect, like that number. Why 33? Because that killing is actually a ritual. It's a message to like insiders. Okay, we're at this point in the plan. This is like the Tuscan shooting. I mean, that was it was a Masonic message to their insiders, their people, and the word Tuscan is encoded in itself. But like, I mean, look at the people he killed, he shot at. Look at all their names, man. Their names were not. It's not a coincidence. Their names are like that. And why is that one little girl? Her name's insane. She had like 3 names, and she was like born on 9/11. That was like the big thing they were saying. I was like, that's not a coincidence. That was all planned. That guy was turned on, and he just he's like a robot, man. It's a Manchurian candidate type of thing. They can just turn somebody on. They can program you genetically or socially or both, genetically then socially engineer you to reinforce what they did genetically. So, I mean, they do that in they can do that in submarines.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, people go in submarines like Bill Cooper or whatever. This guy was like one of theirs. He was one of their people. I mean, he was in a when you're in a Navy ship too. You're out on ship for months, man. Like they can do whatever they want to you, man, on that ship, and they could make you a Manchurian candidate, whatever. Because they can do it to everybody, anybody. It's because the psychopath is in everybody. It's just a matter of bringing it out to the surface. To make somebody a psychopath, it has to be there. So it's in everybody's potential. That's where you get the term, the universe is inside you. All potentials of good and evil are all in each individual. They're not lying. That's not just a mystical, philosophical thing. It's true. It's a fact.
Yeah, but most people don't feel much of anything inside them. But it's a growth process. I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, I mean, it's like if I was 8 years old, I wouldn't really feel that I was the center of the universe or whatever they thought I should feel like I was. But as you sort of basically grow, you know the phrase "grow up" means grow out. As you grow and as you grow older, or whatever, you do discover more and more of the way the connections you have with the reality that's going around you, and even in the terms of ultimate plans or big Masonic deals or 2,000 years plans. I mean, if you want to think about it as the Queen. Not the woman you see on the TV, but as the Queen as being the ultimate, almost a goddess figure, then she would already have planned. It's she planted seeds all over the world, and they're not going to be this, they're going to be this, and they're going to be that, and so it's your sort of duty in a way to be as best as you can be, and find out as much as you can about what's going on around you, and develop and.
You gotta have integrity.
Not just for your own interest. Yeah, no, not just for your own interest, but for the interest of the populace, the people.
It's a sense of community you gotta have, and psychopaths don't have that because they're disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
You can't blame them. You gotta blame the genetic engineers who created those type of people, because nature doesn't create people like that. It's people who altered and manipulated nature.
Psychopaths are the bad guys in the movies. Psychopaths are the bad guys in the movies. The psychopaths are the zombies you kill in computer games. Psychopaths are the enemy. They're not anything to be worried about or worry about their motivations. They're people you must find out about as much as you can, but ultimately defeat them, get over them, and sort of become your own hero.
Yeah, well, that's what they make us think. They make us think in this paradigm of good versus evil. That's Zoroastrian. That's Zoroastrian 101. Good versus evil. That's such a linear way of looking at reality, when reality is not two realities. See, that's Pythagoras said that. He said you can make people think. You can go from the monad to the duad. As soon as you go. And as soon as he spoke about the duad, he would spit on the floor, because he said, as soon as you go into duad, you're going into illusion. So it's only one reality.
Yeah. Exactly. As soon as you realise there is this and that reality, there's automatically three, because there's the observer. Okay. At first there was one. And then there was the opposite of one, which is two. Yeah, the opposite of one is two, because you got one and the opposite and the anti or whatever. And but who was it who found there was two? Well, that would be three. I'm assigning numbers to realities, And so three saw there were two levels of reality, but surely there were 3 levels to reality because 3 was in there. So he'd have to include himself or herself or itself. So there's actually 4 because there's 4 that realise that sequence. And you go on and you go on and you go on, and you gradually discover more levels of yourself or itself or reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
you basically come to like
the principle of numbers is a very deep principle, and I put it on my blog. It's like an old blog post I made, I think a year ago, a year and a half ago. But it's a guy named Richard Bach. He talks about that. Like the principle of numbers is like a big truism behind. Because without 1, you can't have 2. Without 2, you can't have 3. And so, like, if we take 1 away and the whole thing crumbles. That's how the universe is. It's like
exactly.
All these things are working with each other.
The moment you have 1, you have all the other numbers. Basically, it's a logical loop. The moment you have 1, the moment you start to count to 1, you count to all the other numbers, and you invent the whole decimal system, hexadecimal system, whatever you want to call it. You know,
that's all we have, and is numbers, kind of like to kind of like that's what geometry and all these are just symbols of something, because our mind can't grasp these things directly because our minds aren't. We're just too finite, or we're not advanced enough. So we use crude symbols to explain these realities. You know, in our mind. You know, when we talk about the Big Bang and all these things, we're using symbols to give us a conception of these things, but that's not how they really are. In the real sense, it brings us closer to it, but it's not how they really are. Like there's a Arthur C. Clarke story. About the guy talks about the DNA double helix. Like he's like, look at it. It was explained as the deepest reality. Like it's a double. It's like a way. It's like a circle twisted. And you look at it 2 dimensions, but you can't look at it in 2 dimensions. Look at it in 3 dimensions and imagine that in 3 dimensions. But it goes even deeper in that because that's actually 4 dimensions. But we can't draw 4 dimensions. We can try to imagine it. Like I've seen, 4-dimensional, shapes.
Yeah. But the 3 dimension isn't important because you basically if you want to be clever, you'll see the interrelationship between the 3 dimensions. Mm-hmm. You'll see y equals 20 or whatever, and x equals like 16 on one side, and x equals 8 on the other side, and you'll see a line connecting them. But unless you want to get into the 4th dimensions, you don't actually see what the reason is.
Yeah, 4th dimension is just time. That's all it represents. It's expanding. Just imagine like something expanding and then contracting. That's life. You grow, you learn, and then when you die, you putrefy, and you're back to your seed. And from that seed, that's why when you die, or if you look at it when a plant or animal dies, where that animal has died, you'll notice that the grass will be greener. It's like a fertilizer. It's
I heard that.
That's that's what you are.
Like sweat glands or whatever. Yeah.
And then shit is very important. Shit is when you take a shit. It's everything about you. Everything inside of you that you've ever learned is in that piece of shit. And in our world, we think that's pretty ridiculous, and money is really important in our world, but in their world, shit's the most important thing. That's why you see that in the movie Holy Mountain by Alejandro Jodorowsky. He has a scene with the shit. Yeah. I couldn't believe that. I could not. Like, it was so open. Wonderful symbolism. He was that's just amazing, man. He used the hippo. He knows. That guy knows.
It is quite funny. I was showing it to girls. Holy Mountain. And they get to like the scene where the Jesus figure, whatever, the Jesus archetype.
Oh, yeah. He said more without saying it, actually saying anything. No, so it wasn't, the first half of the movie was like non-verbal. They didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But he conveyed so much just with symbols and signs, movement.
It's a wonderful movie. It's a wonderful movie. It's like from the beginning with the Gemini twins or whatever. It's like you got a 21 symbol in there as well. I mean, I think I said that before I left. 21 is the inversion of 12. 12 is the hierarchy or Trinity or whatever. And actually, what you've actually got in reality, you've got a diamond, which is like 12 on top of 21 underneath, but the 12 like relies on 21. It feeds on one or the other. Because if I was wrong,
the twins they use the twin symbolism a lot. The twins is Neanderthaler and clan mother. They allegorize that, and the twins with Danny DeVito and all sorts of nigga. The one twin is the beautiful one, and the other twin is the one that's so ugly. That's how they look. They hate themselves. The Neanderthals, they hate. That's why they have to control everything. They hate.
I see. It's like sexual selection. I mean, it is all revolves sex, so it is sexual selection. It's like
I don't look at them like that. I don't look at them as better or worse than the other clan mother. They're just different. We're trained to thinking like this is better. This is. I mean, it's just different. Like a fish or something, right? We think, oh, we're better than the fish, but like you could just change one circumstance, which is water, and flood everything, and they're more dominant than you. So nobody's really better than anybody here. It's different, different species for different purposes. We all have different jobs to fulfill. But I
knew the 21 symbolism, but I didn't really understand what it meant. I assumed it meant like the one was going to pick one over the other because
the 21. The 21 or 13. 13 or 12, right? It's a number in physics. It's a symbol of protection. It's like looking at an orange with all the different spaces. A lot of times you'll see those different spaces in the orange is 12 surrounding a seed, because that's how it was in the beginning before the Ice Age. When they would have children. What happened?
You're saying about the zodiac as well. It's in the zodiac as well, isn't it?
It's protecting something. What's it protecting? It's protecting the plan. It's the plan. The ancient plan is written in that zodiac. But like it's all similar protection, like Jesus Christ and the 12 disciples. It's a principle. It's nothing like a cult. It's nothing like religious about that per se. It's just a principle in nature, because where they all get it from is in the beginning when clan mothers had children. They would assign 12 people to raise that child, and each person would teach the child a different trade or skill, and that's what it was a similar protection. So that's all they did. They just copied that.
Okay. Yeah, I just assumed it was something to do with eugenics or something, because like with eugenics you've got to have somebody select something against. So I thought the 21 thing was like, he'd select one against the other sort of thing, and so he'd keep them coming back. It's like the Agenda 21. To me, the Agenda 21 means I take one against the other, and I
guess it could probably be looked at as that too. You could be right too. Like it's never just one reason with these guys. It's always like many reasons.
No.
It was like
I live in number 21, so.
Well, maybe it could be 12, and Agenda 21. That's like interesting document, because like they actually wrote that in Brazil, and Brazil is going to be one of the only places that survive. In the from what I've learned, like what they have planned is it's so horrible, man. It's they're gonna eradicate human beings to extinction, basically.
I know.
They're gonna.
It's awful. I've seen these people in action, like how they think and stuff. I mean, it's like, you better like catch on your horror films really to like understand how these people act and think, because that's what they are like. they can walk into like some totally innocent nightclub in inverted commas, and the people just be like, and it's like basically like strangling each other within like seconds. It's a whole different level of reality than most people.
You know what it is? Because what I found with I couldn't come to terms like in the beginning, like Neanderthals, like these guys are so like they're so heartless, like. But now I realize because these guys are a different species, and they just look at us like how people look at like an insect or something. Like we're irrelevant.
Well, yeah. Species, just a word. Species is just a word. It's like if you imagine everybody's playing the same computer game, and like you're really shit at it, you know, and they're really good at it, and they've been playing it since you were born. Yeah. And it's like, you know, you're just like basically a cripple on like a most MMO game, whatever, you know, massively multiplayer online game, and you're an idiot on this thing, and they're just like dominating you.
Yeah, because they knocked us back, and then they kept that knowledge from the ages, and then they kind of kept it in themselves, and they're like, ha 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 ha, we got the knowledge and you don't. That's basically what they did. Yeah. This is something that everybody had, the knowledge that they had of reality and stuff. They had all that. Now we got to fight for that. We got to like struggle to just find out.
I mean, even in the 1980s, I heard their conquests and failures on Facebook. You know, this is in the 1980s. I heard them saying, "Oh, I done so well on Facebook," and I heard the messages they're sending to each other. On Facebook, and it was just in like the 1980s before it was even released to the public. So yeah, I mean, it's just like they're so much higher level than everybody else. But I mean, you know, cliches. But true faith, basically, faith in yourself. You know, it's not faith in a god or their god, because like, yeah, sort of like I was already saying that, but any god is their god. You know. And so you just got to have faith in yourself, and you got to find yourself, and you shouldn't even be worried if you don't know who yourself is. Just like keep on searching for it, have faith in it. It's not even a reasonable, rational, logical thing at the end of the day. It's sort of like emotional, self-justifying thing, and if it doesn't work, you die. So if it does, you survive. So yeah, it's difficult to put in words, but you know, it's basically you really got to like believe in yourself. As people have already got to this phase, so as far as I can see, we're through the worst of it in a way. But next year or 5 years are going to be really weird. I mean, like really strange.
Personally, bro, like I'm actually planning to like leave this location I'm at because. From looking how they set up everything over here and looking at their time schedule, like they're gonna destroy New York. Is not gonna be here anymore. So I'm actually leaving. Like people won't hear from me, or you'll hear from me, but not as frequently. Because I'm really like people may think that's bullshit, but like I'm really like. Out of here, man. Like it's gonna be like 2012, literally. Like you're gonna see mountains melting and shit, and like I'm not gonna. And nobody can see it coming because everybody's kind of caught up in their own world and stuff. But
they're all pre-programmed into the 2012 The World Ends program.
Yeah, they think it's going to happen in 2012, but they love to do things, they call it the penultimate, where they do, 2012, and do right the year before. Like, everybody's prepared.
Yeah, the penultimate, yeah. You're talking like King Arthur.
Yeah, they love that stuff, man. That's another, like, it's a code, I found, a coding structure that's like so many different, like, facets of it. It's different facets of it and different ways of applying it, and after a while, like you learn about it, you do it in your head, and you become more and more. You get better at it, and like it's literally like the Matrix, how you can read the code and like look at the code,
So you actually think it's gonna happen this year? Sure.
Yeah, man. I've been trying. That's why I made that blog post about Ogdensburg. If you can't cross that border, man, you better go to Ogdensburg because that's the only place most likely you can survive without going over that the Canadian border. Because a lot of people are having problems with that Canadian border. The people that I know, like me personally, they won't let me. I'm waiting on them to let me come through. And they're playing games with me because they know who I am, and like they're just playing with me. So like, and other people too, man. Like, you know, the guy Andy, they sent him around. Don't cross that border with Glenn Keely's name on your cell phone, anything, because they'll just turn you around because they know who he is. They know this guy. Like, I mean. A lot of people call him cuckoo and nuts, but like when you have some people attacking you, and all these people are going to these lengths to circumvent what you're doing, you must be doing something right, man. You know, so I don't know. I just seeing what the system has done. Why is all my friends who know about this stuff, why are they all isolated and cut off and they can't do anything? Anybody I know is like they just cut. They can't get money or can't get a job. It's like they're cut. It's like they're cut off, man. Like they just their movements are limited. You know, but
well, that'll be something if it does happen this year.
I mean, you're seeing it. It already started happening. Like Australia, they're doing.
You realize it's very hard to believe, right?
It's hard to believe if you're just taking me on faith, man. You got to go and research, man.
That's a pretty hard topic to research.
What happened?
That's a hard topic to research.
It took Sky Glenn 15 years. You know, it took me. Like I remember reading, for example, Albert Pike's book years ago. I was reading that, and I didn't understand everything. But then I read it again a year ago, and I was amazed. I was like, wow, so many things went over my head because it's after looking at these things and you become more familiar and you become more well-read on things. And it's over a period of time. You need time. It takes time to learn this stuff. And a lot of people, they want things right away. They don't.
Yeah.
Instant gratification. They don't.
Yeah.
It's going to come right away.
I got the instant gratification crowd around me, and that's one of the worst things. One of the most pissy offy things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that pissed me off the most is I've got a fucking circle of 12 around me, and they're all into instant gratification. And it's like, how the hell did I get in contact with you? I don't think I did. You know, it's just it's really bad. It's really bad. I mean, it's not just bad for me. It's bad for everyone. So
you find out as you go deeper and deeper into these things, you become lonelier and lonelier. You find out there's not many people like you out there. You know?
Yeah. I mean, but any time you find out anything, you can always react to it. You've got a choice on how you want to react to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the choices aren't always easy, but I think the best one's always when you end up stronger.
Yeah. I know, the first stage people have with this stuff is they just get really scared, paranoid, and want to tell everybody.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you have a sense of closure after a while with yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't scare you, it doesn't panic you like that. 'Cause you understand it more. So, But, I'm seeing a lot of people on the internet, people who just repost whatever's on the media. Like, everybody's talking about Egypt. But, that's just what the media is saying. Like, what's behind that? Why are they making it a big deal? Why are they talking about that in the media? It's always...
It is. Yeah.
Never look at the obvious shit.
The guys, the Prime Minister, whatever, has been in power for 20, 30, or 40 years, or whatever, and do, reasonably. Logically, why would you want to replace him? Because he's been in power that long. What's going to happen in the immediate present is like so drastic that you want to get rid of the Prime Minister, the guy who's like organising your country, sort of thing. And I've searched around. I've been on the this and that websites, and there's no news at all. It's just ridiculous. And this might sound like wacko or whatever, but I was like in front of the TV, and they had like 500 people injured, one person killed. That's a 501, Leviticus, whatever, Levi 501, and I was like, that's pretty skillful operations by the army, actually, like injuring 500 people and only killing one. What sort of shots are they aiming for? And immediately on the screen, it updated to 350 wounded, 150 killed. And yet, if you actually check the news reads later on, there was only actually 4 people killed. But I've got witnesses for that happening. And it is reality is like defined by a very few people that can control the media.
Yeah, like when you look at the media and you realize, okay, when you see, like when I see something, a tragedy or a big, like something that they make really known, like you always know that it's a message to insiders.
Yeah.
So I look at it like that. Like, okay, what are they saying? And I just read their messages, and I just learn. I just see what they're saying. Okay, we're at this part. That's where they're bringing everybody. Okay, this is what it's all about this year. Like one thing you could look at the Rose Bowl parade. I mean, that's all symbolism in that parade. All symbolism. Every year they have it. I mean, that's really insightful. That stuff. I see it in movies. I see it in. But then as you get older and older, and after you hit a certain age, usually they say 40, life begins at 40, and then I heard like you grasp it in a even deeper way. Like you think you understand. Like me, I'm only 27, and I have a pretty good understanding of things. But like I know that I'm gonna understand it on another level when I reach past.
I know what I mean.
Because that's what.
I'm like 35, so I grasp on a really deep level, and I was like, in a way, I really want to sort of like in my younger sort of like mentality, I want to know how much deeper am I going to grasp it, because like how much deeper am I going to grasp your neck, sort of thing, for like deceiving me this long,
Yeah, well, it's just the same things that you look at, right? And you've always looked at, but you're looking at them in a different light now. Like you're looking at them with different glasses.
Yeah. Well, it's like before I hated you. Now I really hate you.
Yeah, well, you find out, these guys, I find out, I know who the culprits are, but I know why, like, these culprits, like, they destroyed themselves. And I've learned, the people who run the system, it's not even people, really. It's a computer. It's a computer that's running the system, and the computer has no, it doesn't have a heart. So it's just following a program.
It's
going to destroy itself. What happened?
Yeah, have you seen Superman 3?
Like it thinks it's like how it's the same algorithm. How it's a computer that's out of control. It's killing everybody.
You've seen Superman 3 though, the movie Superman 3. Have you seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
You haven't seen Superman 3?
These men.
Am I Superman 3. Superman 3.
I've never seen that. I have to.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
You have to. You have to, because that's exactly what you guys are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The arch enemy in Superman 3 was a supercomputer, and it was a Neanderthal as well. You haven't seen it? Oh
no.
No.
They talk about it in in Alphaville, a movie that came out in the '60s. Great movie. It's a French movie. it's a computer that runs everything and has everybody willing it to will. It runs everything.
Yeah.
But the computer is a program in this computer that it hasn't been able to get around. Like it's running off a program, and this computer is not like IBM. This computer is like.
No, I know. I met it.
It's a chemical computer that it can communicate you through like a psychic type level. Like I've seen it the way they allegorize it in Star Trek. Like it's a computer it uses your own unconscious, your own images in your own unconscious mind, like to communicate with you. Like the movie, a great movie that goes into this is Solaris with George Clooney.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get the audio. The audio was pretty good too, but I listened to both of them. But this thing that it reads you like a book. It can just read you like a book, and it's amazing. And like just use whatever, and it uses it's stuff in your mind to communicate with. It's totally like that's super advanced, shit right there. But that's
I know what you mean. And if you actually spoken to it in reality, it actually usually says it's your mother. It usually says it's your mother.
Yeah, probably, man. Like,
it's a basic thing in psychology. Yeah, it will say, "I'm your mother."
Oh, I'm your father. I'm God. Like.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, as in I am something from below, before you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's it called? That's
you go on.
There's a movie called Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, part 3, right? It's about these insects and stuff that they all fight, and this one's crazy. Like, and this one is like a master bug that lives under the ground.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like talks to people on a psychic level, and like totally allegory of what's going on today.
They
use the same thing in the movie Dark City. It's a machine that all this race of people who are living on the ground, but they manipulate the city and they change people's DNA and all this stuff. But they're all linked to this master computer. And
they're all vampires, aren't they?
Yeah, that's how they allegorize. They kind of live off of us, like
I can't believe you haven't seen Superman 3. Superman 3 is like the best.
Superman 3?
It's like, yeah.
Oh, I
can't
think I have.
Seen it.
Christopher Reeves, you saying?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time. I did see it, but what part are you talking about?
The whole damn movie, basically. The premise of Superman 3 is they have some idiot savant, who's portrays the black guy who's like a hero, sort of, and he, I think it's Richard Pryor plays him, and he invents this machine, and he's like I said, he's an idiot savant, so he just like comes up with this stuff with total luck, and like hacks the internet, the banking system, and that's how he gets his riches. And then Lex Lucifer, like contacts him and say, "Oh, I heard you broke the Matrix. The banking system. I'm really pleased for you, and I want you to work with me." And he's like, "Well, I'm mainly a spiritual guy. I like do this stuff with computers by luck because I like transpose it over whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever, man. It's like kind of man is doing the whole black-white racism thing on him." And so he goes over basically the canyon, and he designs this thing on the blueprint. He designs this computer that's never supposed to actually work. I think it's in Silicon Valley. It's a big supercomputer, and it does eventually work. and it basically brings itself to life. It becomes alive. It's basically a Neanderthal. And
you gotta watch. I made a bunch of YouTube videos on YouTube. I got Go Out 360, and you can look at. I use so many movies referring to this stuff, and I show like in every movie, like what they do with this.
Yeah. It's totally like the white guy, like at the top, Lex Lucifer, whatever. It doesn't have a clue what's going on. I mean, he's like, I just order the black guy around, just like with him and stuff, and he like does this shit. And it basically turns out that the computer he designs basically a vessel for the spirit that comes out of the earth through the spirit of Satan, which possesses this supercomputer, and it creates cyborgs out of people. And it's got its own mission, and as in Frankenstein, it like sort of like dies and comes back to life, and so it starts drawing its own energy source, as in it becomes awake, like Buddha. Actually Buddha actually translates to awake. It becomes awake, and sort of like decides it's going to do its own thing. And with Superman turns up. He has the I think it's the paramecium or something, the end of the world's pain. The thing that will destroy anything else, and he just it projects this thing, which is basically his aura, projects it around him, and he's suffering within his own aura, which is basically his own ego, his own projection of himself, and it suffocates him in it. He's like, it's like suffocating to death, and some third party comes in, like zaps the aura zapping weapon, and the supercomputer gets pissed off, and basically decides to create a race of cyborg creatures. And there's this one girl. She's not, she is a girl, like probably genetically, but she's like this like dykey bitch, and she comes down the stairs, and she's always pissed off, and she's always like, you should do more work, and you're really lame at your job and all that sort of stuff. She comes down the stairs, and she gets cyborgized. She gets turned into a full-on robot, and she comes marching out, like, and I don't know, Superman does something wacky or other to her, but I mean, it was just like also, I just thought it was really obvious, it's like the whole Satan is basically, or Lucifer, whatever, like possessed the spirit. It's like Deus Ex Machina had done
Deus Ex
job
Machina is the one running everything. And when they say Lucifer, Lucifer is the enemy. Because you gotta look at it from different perspectives.
It's the intellectual. My perspective on it is Lucifer is the intellectual angle of Satan.
That's one way of looking at it, but I've heard that too before. But Lucifer is Lucifer. Lucy is the bones that they found in Africa, and fur is iron. They're saying that woman is the enemy, and her name is Lucy, but Lucifer is just one. Lucifer is like saying Iron Lady. Iron Woman.
Yeah.
So like iron is obviously not tough enough, because after iron you get steel, and you get stainless steel, and granite. Or harder is granite. So they're saying that she's not as tough. What happened?
That's what Glenn Keely's saying as well. He's saying like basically the next generation of person is going to be like a woman with the body of a man, sort of mind with the body of a man.
Yeah, they put that in every movie, like the movie Splice. It's this bald-headed lady who's like a man and a woman in one. They show this, in all the movies. But like, so yeah, that's she's the one. It's So when they say Lucifer, they're talking about woman. Woman's the enemy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So when you look at when they talk about darkness and light's supposed to be good and darkness is evil, it's why do they have these connotations on these terms? Why is darkness bad? It's because they're talking about the original black people. In the beginning was darkness, where everybody came from was black. So they're saying because the original blacks were the ones who supported the Klan mother. They defended her, and the system decided to basically to go to war against blacks and and women, the original blacks and women. So all the stuff that you see throughout in history was. When you look at it now, why do women live in a bag in the Middle East in a sheet, complete in a sheet? And why is that? Why they just totally circumvented the power of what they had? If people knew the power women had, they'd be shocked, man. Like women were the ones who were calling the shots, and nobody had a problem with that because that's how they design. Women are designed to be leaders.
Yeah. I mean, I meet the sort of women that would like to think that they're the quiet runners and they're going to possess it all later on. And I'll give them a little test or whatever. And
most women are real women. Though. Most women are they focus more on women. Than anybody else.
Yeah.
So
what I've read and what I've heard is in Hinduism or whatever, might is right when it comes down to it. You can actually this is like a massive summary that I do when I did my shows. I just like doing a massive summary, but might is right, and so it's like whoever is at the top is at the top.
Well,
might basically is pure physical power, you know.
Well, it's instant gratification. I mean, it's So you're talking about physical. You're talking about the Lord of the world, the Demiurgus, the Lord of the physical world. That's the same. It's the same character that they're talking about.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, you to me, you're saying a champion, the guy who's always on the girl, he's always at the top. You know, because that's what it comes down to. It can come down to a physical number. You know, at the end of your life, your power was 253. Oh, sorry, you're only second place. My power was 255. You know, is in a computer. You know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like the movie Resident Evil, right? They showed up the girl who just special girl who just do all these things, whatever.
They wouldn't even let you have computer games and that sort of stuff if it wasn't a metaphor for something. I mean, if it meant nothing, there'd be
you gotta will their will.
There'd be what this? No, I don't want that shit. You know, what? You didn't mean anything to me. No way. You know,
everything's to will their will. But I don't know if who's still on the call.
I think everybody's dead.
I'm still here.
He's like, I'm still here. So you heard that guy last week, George?
Back in 5 minutes.
George?
I was about to go to the store and get me some Hostess cakes. Does
anybody
want anything while I'm gone?
Some steaks, you said?
Hostess cakes. Hostess cakes.
You get some Hostess cakes?
Would you like some ho-hos? Perhaps some little deadbeats? Would you like cookies? Perhaps a cruller? Maybe a glass of yoo-hoo? Some Hershey's milk? Out of soda.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna go, man.
I love some chips. How about one of those microwavable burgers?
Who is this, man? This Jorge? Oh, this is Louis.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. And I can't believe you forgot. You were actually on my show a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, okay. Damn.
I remember. I was the one who was asking you about Sabrina.
Right.
You remember? I sent you a message a while ago. I was asking you about Sabrina.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That poor girl.
What's up with her?
That boy fucking used to smack her. That boy used to smack her around, verbally abuse her. And she stood still by his side. And then
I noticed. Like, I was looking at her pictures. Her pictures, like, she changed over time. Like, how she looked, like I don't know, either stress or something. Was she using? I heard you mention that he was using drugs or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, she put herself on freaking not Zannies.
She got used. She got used, man. That's from my perspective. She got used and abused. What happened?
She got used and abused. Yeah, you're right.
She got used because
it's kind of sad because I thought of her. I always thought of her as like my little sister, and and I was like, yo, if anything's going on, let me know.
But they don't even like you no more. She doesn't like you, right? But they're still they're still pushing that's real change stuff. Or they're still going out.
Well, I mean, Luke is no longer with the group. Freemason is running it now.
Well, the Freemason was always running it, man. Like 4 or 5 years ago, right? When I went to the anniversary of the 9/11 thing, right? The guy who was the leader of the We Are Change, he was flashing symbols in front of everybody, and I didn't think about it. I thought I seen that, and it scared me. I was like, oh shit, man, this is all fake. I seen that shit. And somebody else saw it too. Was like, what's that? And he did it so slick. But then a lot of these guys, like, you ever heard of Trans Alchemy Movement? The guy Ad TV, he's on YouTube. Well, he's another guy. Well, he was telling me like all these guys are all Masons, man. They're all part of it, man. So
they need to be chased out.
Well, I mean, the whole conspiracy movement is all that. I mean, you'll be doing that forever because you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, so many people.
Searching. Well, you search, you expose, you move on. You expose, you move on. Yeah, but nah, man. Poor Sabrina, though, man. Really. I mean, she really got, she woke up, her boyfriend dead, that'll mess anybody up. And then she ends up with fucking dickhead. She was really good to him, freaking used to. Yeah, no, she used to. Yeah, no, he swooped in. Luke swooped in, man. He swooped in and took over that shit.
He's slick.
And then, he went in there,
So he's not. We Are Changed anymore. And what is it like? It's
Well, I mean, he's not associated. He's doing his own thing now. Ever since he got exposed from being a fucking thief and a half. But now the Freemason, Craig Fitzgerald's trying to bring him back.
Well, I don't know what's up with those guys, but like, from what I last remember, and I used to be into that stuff. I remember the guy. He was one of those guys. He was like, I forgot it. I think he was like Arabic. I'm not sure. Was he Arabic? He would like kind of like host. He would have a cover for Alex Jones sometimes on his show. He was part of Real Change. I don't know. I forgot his name.
Well, Gary Calise.
Maybe. I remember another guy, something Rodriguez. He was like a 9/11 guy. Like he seems to be making a lot of it's a business for him. Like he's making a lot because he just goes around talking.
Really Rodriguez?
Yeah. Like
Really Rodriguez?
Yeah.
The guy, the last guy out of the the supposedly the last guy out of the.
Yeah, like when I look at him, right?
Puerto Rican.
Yeah, him. The last guy was like he was like a janitor. Like when I look at him, like I think there's more to it than meets the eye with that guy. When I think about it now, like
honestly, I hope not, because he's Puerto Rican like me, and I would hate to have fucking take down, one of my people, but I will. If he is a scumbag, I will have to. But hey, I'm already the most hated person in this movement anyway, so screw it. I mean, if Willie Rodriguez is a liar, then
I don't know. I just this is what my gut tells me, but it's all like when you look at it, it's a big sham, man. It's 9/11 turned into like it was a business. It's like
Of course it did. Freaking. I was listening to the interview that Alex Jones did with Spencer Pratt and Heidi Mondag.
Alex Jones is on History Channel all the time, man. He is them. And he has control of some people's minds.
I'm like, at one point, Spencer Pratt is like, "Oh, Alex, I went to your InfoWars store and I bought all your DVDs." I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is your problem? You can get them shits for free.
Yeah.
Don't, why, come on, seriously?
So I don't know about
these. Yeah. I mean, it's I know when I met Alex, I was like, oh my God, it's Alex Jones, oh my God. Like, and then I was violently smacked out of it when I got kicked out of We Are Change, and then everyone started coming to me like, yo, Lou, what this is about, this, that, and then I started getting me a real education about what's going on, and now I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to start cutting motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
React.
I just learned that I learned 9/11. Yeah, was all that stuff, and then I learned that there's other things besides 9/11. 9/11 was just an event. But yeah, anyway.
We Are Change New York is doomed, and they're not gonna get nothing real done. They're not gonna fight hard. They're not gonna come up with a real plan. They're gonna do charity stuff that really doesn't make a difference.
That's what Mason's all about, man. Charity.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna get off, man. I've been on this thing for like 4 hours.
Yes.
I'm gonna get off this thing.
All right. Yeah, it sounds like you're about to fall asleep, and
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna go get me some Hostess cakes.
Yeah, all right, man. Enjoy it.
Perhaps some snickerdoodles, maybe graham crackers with some cheese. Maybe microwave a couple pizza with the burger. Some turkey, American cheese, make a sandwich. Buy an uncooked whole chicken, make love to it, throw it away. Because that's how I do.
All right, man. I'll talk to you, man.
I fuck it through the neck hole.
All right, man. I'll talk to you.
I buy some lobster, put it on the table, smack it off. I'm nuts.
All right, man. You're crazy, man.
All right, good night.
All right, good night.
Okay. You need to end the call. No, he needs to click end the call. Oh, Jesus. And he's recording it, too. Holy Jesus, Palomino. Oh, man. I don't know whether to stay or go, I guess. So, you guys are going to stay? I don't know. I'm just... He didn't end the show officially. I want to watch some 21 Jump Street, but I can't just leave this place all by itself. I mean, you guys are gonna go nuts without anyone being here. Anyways, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, only on QuackShotRadio.com. And with that, I'm going to go polish my penis. There you go. Now it's shiny. That's stupid. Yes, I'm bringing it down to this level. Before you guys go, new show. Check this out. Russ Stuff shoots people in the face.
Hello, Mr. Dove. I'm selling these Girl Scout cookies to help out get us new uniforms. Would you like to buy a box?
Hell no, young girl. You must get off my property. I do not accept your unnatural foodstuffs. Please get off. You have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 5. That ought to teach that bitch to fuck with me and give me unnatural foodstuffs. Now what the hell I'm gonna do with this body? Soon the whole world will know that I, Russ Dove, will shoot you in your face. There you go. Goodbye, everybody. 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 There you go. Goodbye, everybody.